Hello, folks, and welcome back to Petalburg Woods, where the grass is green and the girls are pretty. As always, let's get ready to talk some Pokemon. This is the lovely and wonderful show where we discuss the world surrounding Pokemon, the environment, the players, the feelings around Pokemon, and perhaps not just the games themselves. A bit more metaphysical than the average Joe, per se. As always, I'm your lovely host, Droomish, and I'm joined by...
I suppose I'm your other lovely host, Capreo. How you doing? Thanks so much for checking out the show. And we're joined today by a very special guest. Folks, please give a warm welcome to Ackolade.
Hello. Hello.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. Yeah, it's been a while.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah.
Thanks.
We're so lucky to have you.
Yeah, we really are. We searched far and wide for the role that Accolade is about to provide us.
I'm ready.
Why don't you tell us about you first, I guess, before we really get into it?
Sure. I guess what you should know about me is I think, Johto's strongest soldier in a way.
Awesome.
I love Johto. Probably my favorite generation region. Everything about it. I've studied the sword being the Johto region Bulbapedia page.
Thank God.
You've read the ancient scrolls.
Oh yeah.
.net.
Absolutely.
As you may have guessed from the title of today's episode, the Johto situation is crazy. I am locking that title in. Capreo he said I get one "This situation is crazy" video on the channel.
How about like one per year? Because
one per year.
One is really harsh, but one per year, I think I can allow one per year.
I get one. The blank situation is crazy.
Yeah, so
we're
next
doing it
year,
for Johto.
Next year is probably going to be the Sinnoh situation is crazy.
Oh
yeah, that discourse has been getting out of hand. Maybe I just spend too much time online, but like the stuff that people say, like, hey, go outside, like go to Sinnoh, go to the actual Sinnoh region. This is getting ridiculous. But the Johto situation is crazy. I have to reiterate, it's the Johto situation. And it's crazy, and we're gonna get into it. But as we always like to do, and it's really my favorite part of the show in many ways. How's everybody doing? What have we been playing, doing Pokemon lately in the last little period since we last chatted? I'll go last this time since I'm so gracious.
Okay, I'll go first. I am very pleased and proud to announce that I got my gold trainer card in Pokemon Emerald.
Wow. Oh, yeah.
Wow. I'm so stoked about it. Finally got the gold symbol in the battle tower. That was the last one. I did finally sort of concede and like built basically the ultimate team, right? Latios, Suicune, who I had been using, but finally rounded out the team with Metagross, and together the three of them truly like the A team, the ultimate squad. It wasn't like easy, it still wasn't free, but it went a hell of a lot smoother than trying to use some of my other guys.
It's been like 6 episodes at least, and that's 2 weeks a pop for us.
Yeah. It's been several months. Several months since we started the show that I've even been mentioning it, and it's been probably, I think I started Emerald Frontier like fall 2023.
Goodness gracious.
There's been, to give myself a little bit of credit, there's been some things here and there in between, but yeah, just every now and then going back to it and just doing one facility at a time. But finally, gold trainer card in Emerald, which I'm very excited about. So I basically, for Gen 3, just have like a couple things left for like my Ribbon Masters to take care of, and just like dot some I's, cross some T's, and then I can move on to Gen 4. Which I'm very excited about.
Oh my gosh. Back to back?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, he's really into it. He really enjoys this stuff.
I like Pokemon a lot.
Sure. Wait, can I ask? Do you know off the top of your head how many hours you have on that file?
Yeah, in the Emerald file is I think over 380.
Oh gosh!
But I think across Gen 3, it's 600 plus, 700 plus.
Wow.
Between Emerald and my Fire Red file also has I think like 250 plus. Coliseum XD, all of the games combined, I think is up there for sure. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and again, I have like a couple things left to do. One of the bigger things that I have left to do is I still need to get the Surfing Pichu from Pokemon Box. So I just have to like deposit 1,500 Pokemon into box, which I have. I just basically
just
like
1,500.
I just gotta like do it one of these days.
1,500.
Chill, throw it in there. Got some extra.
And then
really chill.
And then I'll get the Surfing Pichu, and I gotta do Mount Battle and XD to get the Johto starters in there. I've done that twice for 2 of them, so I just got to do that one more time to get the final Johto starter. And like, so I'm trying to like complete, like get like all of the Gen 3 Pokemon within reason. I'm gonna be missing like e-reader Pokemon. But yeah, almost done, which I'm excited about. So that's me.
Salute the dedication.
Thank you. Akko, what have you been doing lately?
Yeah.
I've been playing a lot of Tears of the Kingdom.
Awesome.
That's non-Pokemon related, but it was one of those situations
you can
where
have this one.
Yeah. Fair enough. Thank you. No, it's one of those situations where I played halfway through, got burnt out, then picked it back up, and then I remembered how fun it was. In terms of Pokemon though, okay, I just remembered this. Something I've been thinking a lot about recently with Pokemon is like the economy about it, the money situation. I know there's been things about it or there's been discussions on, like super repels are more efficient than max repels for X and Y games, but I'm more interested in like, at what point is it worth it to go back for a heal versus just buy something? It's strange that the games give you like $3,000 specifically to start out. Do you really need $3,000? So just like kind of dissecting the economics of the games, because the money system is very interesting and I feel like under discussed. So I'm doing I'm a data guy. I'm a data analyst at work, and I had to put that energy somewhere. So
totally.
So think a lot about
idea.
that.
Yeah, that's really cool. Because I just they say that. Like I was trying to get like shiny Togepi or something. I don't know. I just I wanted a radar thing, and one of my friends is like, make sure you buy the super repels. Buy the super repels. It's like, what are you talking about?
Oh yeah.
Just like I'm the jackass. I know. Sorry, Magnemite. I'm the jackass. But I'm not doing that. I'm gonna buy max repels because they let me be as lazy as possible for the most amount of time. I'm indulgent. But
I bet you're not even buying lemonades and you're buying hyper potions instead too.
I often do because I see the word hyper and I see a pink like bottle of Gatorade and I think this is obviously better.
Hard. Can't say I blame you.
I never used the like herbal medicine, like the heal powder, the like revival herb, any of those, even though those are really cheap. It's just like the negative friendship aspect of it makes me not want to use them for whatever reason. But I feel like those are very cost effective.
Yeah, like what an ultimate cost. Like remove the friend like that. That's the whole point of Pokemon. Why would I want to be less friends with my Pokemon?
I know.
There's also like a bunch of like in-universe DIY stuff. Also, like I haven't had the thought that I feel like I've seen like people talking about it on videos, but it's like the thing. I don't know. Like I've wondered. It's like not even like it's Pokemon. I'm not gonna like think is like, is this a utopia or something silly like that? But it's like I don't know, like you're like crunchy or something when you're in Pokemon. Like you like grow food. Like it's like I'm growing like most of my food. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And like I don't know the way that like the gameplay cycle. I always think of those mini games that it's like I don't know, they like give you treats or something, and it's like that would, I don't know. There's like not even like a spatial justification for that. Like what do you mean like playing like hopscotch and tag with my friends like gives me little cookies, but here I am making it in the big city. I didn't have to buy those. That's
pretty cool.
That's the abundance mindset that you need.
Okay, that's the word. It wasn't coming to me, but that's. I think it's interesting that money exists at all. Like that's like where my first thought is with that of like they have so many systems in place, so you can kind of like you reward yourself. I think that's like the charm of so many, especially like with like the old like multiplayer systems and stuff, and just like I don't know all the little mini games. You're like oh I'm gonna go. I think I had a friend telling me this the other day. He's like oh I'm so excited to do my chores. So excited to do my chores because my chores are gonna give me other chores. And when I use Rock Smash on all those rocks, so I'm looking for Shuckle, I'm gonna bring the heart scales over to this guy, and Altaria is gonna get Roost back. And like what a fun little day I have planned for me. I was like that really made me think. He told me that and he thought he was being silly, and I was like, Pokemon's really cool. I've never thought about it like I've like thought I've like called it chores before, but like damn, that's awesome. What a like imagine Sisyphus happy, like that kind of thing.
Dailies.
Yeah, dailies in Pokemon.
Yeah.
I hope to see your essay soon, Akko. The Akko essay on the economy.
Yeah. It's in the works. It's a lot of data to parse. I don't know, no major takeaways, but I think the big question I want to answer is at what point does money become worthless in the game? Because there's a certain point where like you can afford everything and money is never a problem. So I'm interested in like what that point is.
Fascinating.
Yeah. I want you to think about it, and then I'll think about it when you talk to me about it. How great is that?
Oh yeah.
The infinite consumption of the globalized world. Okay, I think. Oh, is it my turn?
Yeah.
Is
yeah?
Did you give me permission?
Yeah, absolutely. What have you been up to?
Okay, thanks. Well, I'm going to. It's like I guess like kind of an update from the show. I am for real going to that convention that Awood talked about with us.
Woohoo!
It's called Long Island Retro, and I think I'm even going to be running a special Pokemon related segment while I'm there for this show. It's a Petalburg Woods exclusive. It may not even make it onto Droomish, this segment that Capreo and I have cooked up, but I'm gonna go there and spread the good word of Pokemon. They even so blessed they gave me a media pass. I'm excited to be there representing Droomish and the show. Yeah, big shout out LA Retro. But in preparation for the Pokemon thing I've been doing, not just to be like, look at me, but I've been working on. They're having a Gen 3 tournament. It's like doubles. It's not OU. It's like maybe this is familiar. They had it was VGC before VGC when they did the Pokemon Tour of America thing.
Right.
There's some differences with this. This is like I guess VGC-fied a little bit. Like I don't know if the Tour of America. I like to call it or whatever it was called. But it was like the Tour of Mewtwo, really, because everybody just used Mewtwo, and you can't use Mewtwo in this format. So, but I've been working on a team for that, and just really getting lost in the beauty that is Comp Gen 3. I'll never run out of steam for that. It's so interesting. I was experimenting with lead Glalie today. How great is that?
Ooh.
Everybody knows what I'm talking about. I'm being really interesting when I say lead Glalie is going to turn heads at this convention. Pretty cool.
That sounds insane. I don't know what could lead Glalie possibly have in store.
Well, it has inner focus and explosion. That's
okay. My bad. Can't be faked out. No, for sure.
So I think that's really, I don't know. I've been sort of busy, but between that and I don't know, like I make the videos, and thanks for watching the videos, video watchers. But like I don't know, at some point it like decompresses that I'm like playing the game, and it's not like it's not fun. I love that, but it's like I don't know, like I'm almost like studying or like in the lab or something, and then I go home, and it's like you know, good screen, bad screen dichotomy type stuff, and it's not bad screen, but it's like I'm not playing. Like it's like you know, we're here to we're here to show the people something about this beautiful world and discuss the beautiful world. But so I think I've really only had the eyes for the tournament right now. We are going to do the Fun Fest thing, and it's not really like I'll have a great story about that next episode, because the con is in between this and next episode. But really hope to get. I haven't. My White 2 file is like I'm at like Nimbasa, and he said that I have to get to at least Mistelton. So
yeah, you gotta hustle.
Homework.
Yeah, I said if I want to do the mission, and I think I have like an 11-hour car ride. So if I don't get it done in that amount of time, it's my own fault that I don't get to have fun. But
do you not get car sick?
No, have you ever used those glasses?
No. Sorry.
No, Akko, we're gonna change your. I'm for real pulling up the car sickness goggles. I only discovered these recently.
What?
I don't even know how to like, and this is gonna look so dumb. The picture, maybe we can get the picture on screen during the episode if you're watching on YouTube. But like, this is not a joke. This picture I sent you, the picture is real and it works. I have used them. This is real.
Is the suit necessary?
The suit is not necessary. This is the stuff.
You have to be on your way to a business meeting.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's awesome.
None of these.
And that's supposed to make it so that you don't get car sick?
Yeah, I don't.
That guy is on a plane for sure.
Well, yeah, he's. Oh wait, here's one of like a girl looking more normal using them. So I believe what these things do, and to visually describe them for the listeners. So they are like normal. They're like sort of thick rimmed glasses on the front that I don't know if they have like something in them or something. They have like a little loop across the bottom half. There might be a liquid in there or something. But then the most notable feature of them all is that they have a third and fourth empty lens, like kind of where your temples are along the edge of the glasses. So it looks like you have 4 glasses on.
Like a Quidditch game is going on.
I guess they do look very strange, but they work. Like the strangest thing is that they work. Like I had a friend. He's like, I just went on a car ride. They work. Like you're gonna feel a bit buffoonish, especially like if somebody sees you, but they work. And
yeah, if it works,
of course I was skeptical because this looks silly.
I don't blame you.
It's a prank.
They do like yeah, like I think they're like the car sickness, or at least like I don't know, like the common car sickness akin to the common cold is like to do with like horizon setting. It's like the like where the horizon is to your eyes. Like I've heard tricks about like you want to focus on the horizon if you get car sick and like you're just trying to stable out. And so I think this helps with your internal horizon setting. So
okay,
I need that.
just I guess a little like sort of science corner on today's Petalburg Woods, but
yeah, cool.
Sorry, I didn't mean to derail.
No, I thought it was I'm so glad I got to share this at long last. I have big aspirations to play White 2 while I'm taking turns driving to New York.
And now you can.
Real cool doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna look awesome. Okay, I think that's all from me though. Are we ready, folks, to jump into the situation?
Oh yeah.
I think we're ready.
Okay. At long last, the Johto situation and its craziness. So, what I'm calling it that because of the wise words of Moist Critical. But so let's describe the situation first. I mean, fortunately, we've got. I feel like we planned this episode particularly well. At least I'm hoping. Hopefully, it doesn't derail. I feel like Capreo might scream at me at one point. But
I wouldn't dream of it.
Okay. Well, okay, so, it's my personal philosophy that, Johto, the Johto games, I like the Johto games pretty well. The Johto games, I think they're great, but they have this really unique quality to them that is really only present in the way that I see them discussed. And I guess there's another disclaimer for this is that like we would not do a game review on this show. Like I just don't want to. Like this is not like our take on Heart Gold and Soul Silver or something. Like because I don't know. Well, I mean maybe you do. I don't know. But like frankly, who cares? Like I say to myself, like maybe that's not fair to me. But like I don't care. Sorry. The meta context of the games and like what this show is about is that there just really seems to be this whole can of worms with the way that the Johto games are talked about. They are pretty virulently debated online. I see this constantly. Johto's strongest defenders, one of which we have in the episode with us,
Hello.
And their biggest haters, which I will be role playing one as today to keep the situation moving, is in fierce debate constantly. And I think ultimately it comes down to, and why, because it's like, it's not, I don't think it's just a car crash that you can't look away from. I think that Johto is almost this like emblem of Pokemon's expectations as a whole. I was just telling them, I like to ask people, what did you think of these games? Because it's almost an easier question than asking, what do you think a Pokemon game is supposed to be?
Mm-hmm.
Like, people tell me what they want about the Johto games, and I almost feel like I understand what they think Pokemon is supposed to be. And, as we have discussed before, people think many different things about what Pokemon is supposed to be. And hopefully, over this episode, we can not only dive into those, but I kind of want to explore, like, what is it about Gold, Silver, Crystal, Heart Gold, and Soul Silver that makes it such a perfect, like, palette for this, I guess. Like, because, I don't know, I find that very, very poignantly in the way that people post and talk and discuss about it. So, that's the Johto situation. Is there any, before we get into it, the Johto situation, anything to add, folks? Just kind of some pretense setting right now.
I mean, it's hotly contested. I hear you there. I think and we'll dig into this, but I think there are some choices that were made about Johto that weren't replicated in later games. And I think that is the core disagreement or like enjoyment that people have. I think, okay, I might be getting into this. So stop me if I'm
no. That's good. I mean, just like novelty is like the point that like there's like
I guess my thesis is like Johto is, in my opinion, the boldest Pokemon game in the franchise, but not necessarily the most well executed. I think that's the angle I've been thinking, because I've been thinking a lot about these games. And I've put in my hours, and I think that's ultimately where I come away from. I think it zigs in a lot of ways where the rest of the franchise zags, and I think that's what makes it stand out. That's what makes it easy for criticism, and that's why I love it so much.
Mm-hmm. There's some obvious or like some standout things that a lot of people like to point to in regards to Johto. So do we want to like put all of those out on the table, or do we just want to tackle one at a time?
I would prefer one at a time.
Okay.
I think, but only because I think, God, that was such a good way to put it. Like it is bold. I agree. It is bold, and
I find Johto asks a lot of the player. To sit with it.
Seriously.
And that's
this is great.
That's the boldness, right? Is that kind of what you're referring
100%,
to?
100%. Cool. It doesn't kowtow in a way that a lot of other games following it do, and I think that's the double-edged sword right there. That's why it's so polarizing.
Mm. So part of the sitting with it, I think, unfortunately, or at least I don't know, maybe easily leads to a criticism. I fear, for people who don't have maybe the patience to sit with it, right?
Oh yeah, it's definitely it's a patient game. Yeah, I think like, okay, before I start glazing it super hard, I think like the most valid criticism, or like one of the most valid criticisms, there's a specific point when you're taking over Silphco, right? Or you're taking back Silphco on, or what is it?
Rocket?
Goldenrod? Yeah.
Goldenrod, okay.
Goldenrod. Yeah. There's that long split where you're in the underground area. Sorry, I'm refreshing. There's that long split where there's a bunch of rocket trainers, all have weak Pokemon, and that's like a real slog. And even in speedruns, that's like where people will spam in chat like boring part of the run or whatever, Z's, you know. I think that's the
part of the speedrun that I know I can like go get supper and come back and I won't miss anything.
100%. 100%. Yeah. So I think like that's I think a real strong example of like a pacing issue. And then I feel like a lot of people talk about the Kanto gyms being like a breeze to get through, and like you kind of go one at a time. There's not much in the way of completing. I think like certain parts of the 4, 5, 6 gyms kind of go by really quickly. So I guess like in terms of pacing, I'm mostly referring to like where the game decide. We started up top saying it's a slow game, and I think like the reason we remember that is because there are parts of the game that feel like excruciatingly slow, and I think that's part of the execution problem.
Do you feel like the intention from Game Freak at the time was for that part of the game to feel that way, or do you think like they didn't stick that landing?
So I think like, okay, I think my thing with intention. So, and we discussed this briefly beforehand, that the games were there's a lot of discussion about it being rushed, right? Like there's 4 developers, like either Miyamoto or Iwata came in at the 11th hour to like push things along. It was in development for 3 years. Yeah. And I think that's a common complaint that's levied towards the games, but I think in my head, that is almost another way to look at it is that because the games were rushed, the end result is only the things that the developers thought were absolutely necessary to keep in. And I think that's very telling about like the game that we ended up with. So I think in some ways there's like, it can't not be intent, right? Because there's so much constraint placed around it. Now, maybe the execution wasn't always there, but I think, like, for example, the that goldenrod split, I think the intent in my head, and I'm really imbuing a lot of like charity here.
All we can do is like assume maybe what was happening.
Sure. I think like this gets into the bigger theme, I think, of and we'll talk about it as we go on, but like I think the intent behind this stretch was to show that like Team Rocket is a foregone era. A lot of the events of the Red and Blue games were foregone eras, and I think the intent of that slog was to just show you the degradation compared to what was. And I think that lands better for people who have played Red and Blue. But I think that was, I think, the intent, if I had to like imbue charity and like
sure
and everything. I think that's like the close part.
That feels really charitable. I appreciate the sentiment. I mean, it is like, I don't know, like I think of that section specifically. I mean, it's like I don't know, if you haven't been there, I promise we're not we're not like picking at a hair here. Like I feel like this is kind of the moment of the game where like I was playing this as a kid. I don't know, like I say a kid, but I was a kid. I don't know, like 9 through 13, and this is the only part of the game where I'm like, oh my god, this actually sucks. Like I was like things were fine before this, but it's like this is the 100th Rocket Grunt I've fought. I'm not getting any XP, and I know that Claire is coming. And Claire is coming, folks.
Even if you don't know, you just like, you know. I think too, with you mentioning that the development of these games being rushed, part of the issue with that is like you had mentioned that like maybe everything that's in the game is something that they felt should be in the game. perhaps to the detriment of like the pacing, for instance. And so maybe there was a lack of like testing and then feedback about aspects of that game. Because these are also, I couldn't imagine testing a Pokemon game. Could you imagine? That would be
especially back then.
Yeah, that would be such an undertaking. So yeah, with these games,
testing is one thing. But like experience testing for a Pokemon game, I would not subject myself to that. But like, it's like lots of riding on my shoulders. The entire world is gonna hate me no matter what I do. Like experience testing for a game, at least now. Like I feel like that's that just context you added is like that's kind of like I've never thought about that before. It's like they can like it's obviously bad when there's like bugs and stuff in the game, but like feedback testing for actual like the actual quality of life is like how like that's Herculean, especially as it goes on. So I don't know, I have to really stop and gander at that point. It's a really powerful thought, I think.
Yeah, and like I guess to sort of justify what I'm saying, I think the purpose of something like extending out certain parts of the game, making them feel like a slog, while in practice an experience might not feel like particularly enjoyable. I think another part of my whole view on the games is that they're very the core theme of Gen 2, in my opinion, is reflection. And so like I think it's strengthened by an understanding of the games that came before it. So I think if you played Red and Blue, your experience is entirely different from if you were to go in starting with Gen 2. Like for me, I started with Fire Red and Leaf Green, and then I played Gen 2. I went backwards to Gen 2, and I think that was like mind-blowing. I think that was like the light bulb moment, seeing that connective tissue. But I think like because Gen 2's theme is all about reflection, it's really important to view all the events and like strictly from a story perspective with that context. It doesn't ring the same, and I think that's also probably part of why some people are turned off by it. But I think like through that lens, it's so much stronger as like a story. It's almost an entirely different experience.
I had something similar where I did Fire Red and then did Soul Silver, and very similar up until the red fight at the end, like consistently blew my mind the whole time.
Totally.
So I'm extremely nostalgic for Johto, which like I have no doubt plays into my opinion of it. But also here's the thing. I've gotten to Claire before, and I've been underleveled, right?
Sure.
Maybe all three of us have encountered that before, right?
Sure.
Oh yeah. Just start cheating.
She's the 8th gym leader. She's supposed to be hard.
Whoa, okay. Okay. All right. Then here's my meta question, and in each one of these complaints, I want a meta question to go with it. I think you just hit one of them really good. So to the issue of pacing, I think this is a larger question, and it's one that I'm really excited to tackle. Literally, when anything will make me think about this. I mean, we're discussing the issue of pacing, so then I feel like that begs, how long is a Pokemon game supposed to take? And like, how long are you supposed to spend playing it? Like,
sure.
If Johto is bad or good, what is right? Like, and that's, the point of this. But like what is pacing? What is pacing? And what is like, what would be a good speed? What is a good speed? How long am I supposed to spend on this before it sucks?
100%. And like, oh gosh, this is like the core of it, because I feel like what is missing from this discussion, and I'm gonna sound like a boomer when I say it, but like it was a different time. People were playing Pokemon in a different way. Like the game was so clearly meant to be played in spurts and live alongside you, and not to be completed in long sessions. That's like that's I think one of my strongest things about Gen 2 is that, like, to your point exactly, it's meant to be played, or like what is the game's pacing supposed to be? In Gen 2's case, it asks you to like I have memories of like going to baseball practice, like a 15-minute car ride to baseball practice, and I'd like train a couple Pokemon in the lead up to Claire's fight, you know, and like I'm not expecting to blow through it in like a 2-hour session in the same way I would if I was playing on a console, but like I think that's the appeal.
Completely. With that, I think Johto being the first game in the series to have a day-night cycle and real-time events in the game. Like, I'm playing through Crystal just in the last week. Just when I knew that we were doing this episode, I was just like, I should probably play through this game again just to kind of reacquaint myself right quick. And I got a Cleffa from my odd egg, right? I got a shiny Cleffa. And
wow, did you get that first try?
No, I reset a few times for it.
Oh, you muscled it out? That's awesome. Okay, good job.
Thank you very much. But obviously, because Cleffa is a friendship evolution into Clefairy, I would like that to happen quickly, but like, you know, quickly insofar as like the amount of progress I make in the game, not quickly in the amount of time I want it to take. And so I stayed put in the Goldenrod area so I could every day go back and do the massage for my Cleffa, and I would just check in with my crystal for a couple minutes a day, maybe do a handful of other things, go grab some apricorns, whatever. And then that would be my crystal for the day, and I'd go play something else.
Yes, exactly. Oh my gosh, this is and we're far from the first people to say this, because I think Tama Hero did a video about Gen 2, and I think she echoed similar sentiments of like
the goat.
the
okay.
What?
Sorry, Akko.
She has a lot to say about Fire and Leaf Green that I don't like. But,
sure. Okay.
Yeah, great.
Sometimes the goat.
So I can get behind that. But okay, so like day-night cycles, the calling system, like bug catching contests happening on certain days, like it's a game that's meant to be played in spurts. And even when you go to when you fast forward to Gen 4, if we're including that in the discussion, like the invention of the Pokewalker, how more emblematic is that of a game supposed to live alongside with you? That it doesn't get more clear than that to me. I don't know.
Yeah. Imagine if you framed Gold and Silver as if it was Animal Crossing, right?
That's the thing. Okay, I think what a great point, because and I agree with this. Like, I think it is absolutely the developer intent to play the game slowly, but I want to give some validity to the alternative, because and it's not even it's almost like Pokemon's own fault for being too good. I do think it's like fair to say that like Pokemon is so gratifying. Like I think of things, it's like with Heart Gold and Soul Silver, specifically, like it's one that is like actually okay. So I found one. This is like my battle on the subject. The Heart Gold and Soul Silver expanded Safari Zone, to me, in my mind, is one of the most gratifying things imaginable. To have that fully set up. Oh my goodness, I want that prize in my hands right now to play with. And like, it's so good. Oh my goodness, I love Pokemon. I want to catch I want to play. I want to play in that playground. And I read about it takes from the, like, I don't know, I'm gonna meta perspective. You can cheat. There's a way to manipulate the time to get that thing to work faster, but just like as a placeholder, I guess, is but like
assuming you're pure.
Assuming you're pure, and I was pure when I was like 12 reading about this. I was like, oh, this is awesome. What do you mean it takes 104 days to get back on? That doesn't seem exactly right. That's kind of like I'm gonna be in 9th grade by the time that happens.
4 days of summer vacation, and Bagon is in the safari.
So, but it's like, I guess I want to offer fairness about that, because as I get it, of like I don't think that a person wants to rush through. It's almost like a compliment in my mind in some ways to the Johto region that you want to get to the end, because it's fucking awesome. That like this is I want to go run around Kanto without a care in the world, and like have, I don't know, Porygon 2 and Scizor instead of Charizard. Like, it is, Pokemon is so gratifying. Like it's like it's almost like, I don't know, they made I feel like this is on Bob's Burgers. There's a really good concept where like the arcade prize was too good for the kids to not cheat. They put a dune buggy in the arcade and kids cheated. So like it's too good of a prize. So like the prizes in Johto are so good where it's like I do think it's like, oh, like what if I could get to the end, and I think that's like, I don't know, it's like a not even a problem, like it's just like, I don't know, the optics of Pokemon as a whole, because it's like obvious that's Pokemon's gratification is probably why the series is so popular and so beloved. Like, this is awesome, the prizes are awesome, I'm gonna play this game and get the coolest thing I've ever seen. I don't know, I'm trying not to say Charizard, but because I don't, Charizard is an asshole. But like, I don't know, it's like Dragonite. Oh my god, it's Dragonite! I have to do all this stuff to get Dragonite. That's so cool. And but how hard do you make the arcade game is just kind of like, I don't know. That's like, I guess, one of the questions of game design. Period. And Johto's. So I guess a follow-up question, like. And like if it's just good, it's good. But like I'm looking for the words for it from people who like it, because I like it. But like, can you describe the value of the Animal Crossing? Put it to everybody go around. But like, what feels good about the Animal Crossing? What is the value of it? Can you put it in a bottle and can you describe it to me?
I mean, the reason that you log into Animal Crossing every day is to do your dailies. And that's, I don't know, Johto is one of the best games in the series to do your dailies in. It's just one of the best games to like live in. It's one of the best games to spend time in. It provides a lot of things for you to do, and then actually spending time in it is enjoyable inherently. And that's very similar to Animal Crossing, I think, where you just like, you don't have to feel productive or have a goal. You can just like exist and it's fun. And I think Gold and Silver, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Crystal, not to leave Crystal out. I don't know. They're just like one of the best games in the series to exist in. I feel so strongly about that. Akko, I feel like you're in a similar boat.
Yeah, I think like where I'd lay credence to the haters, as much as I detest them.
Oh my god, we're respecting the haters. Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah. No. Okay. So, and why I say that these games zig while the rest of the series zags is because with each additional generation, it seems like the philosophy of these games is to provide a less and less friction-y experience, if that makes sense. Like
totally.
The difficulty pares down, and I think like people have made this comment a bunch of times about how new games are easy, but I think that's what makes Gen 2 so interesting, and at times problematic, because I'm not gonna pretend that it sucks to have to wait like a week to get your Lapras in the cave or whatever, but like that's. I feel like if there's a valid criticism here, it's that Game Freak didn't message that well enough, because I feel like the expectation that was set in Red and Blue is this huge power fantasy of become the best, clear through all the difficult challenges. Gen 2 is almost like the opposite in a lot of ways, and that's why I bring up Reflection a lot, because it's sort of the answer to what happens when you become the best. Like, everything is kind of empty, everything's kind of quiet, you're kind of having to like restore or like pick up the pieces of like a legend who came before you in Red, who was super cool and awesome and did all the super cool and awesome stuff, and now you're just kind of like a kid wandering around the region that seems like everything is already completed. So I think like narratively that's really interesting, and again, like the execution maybe isn't all there, but like I think that's what makes it so compelling to me, is that like they dared to question the path of the franchise one sequel in. Like that's super cool to me. I don't know, because the rest of the game is power fantasy.
I don't think a lack of messaging was an issue initially. I think perhaps the lack of messaging has become an issue when maybe Johto wasn't Johto and Kanto were not the first or second games that people were playing. People had played Emerald and Platinum and Black and White 2 and so on, and then perhaps gone back to either Heart Gold Soul Silver or Gold Silver Crystal, right? Where they were used to what sort of newer Pokemon games have become, and then they go back to this game that does, I think, demand a bit more of them, and they're frustrated because they can't zip through it as fast as they were in these other games. Because it's true, most other Pokemon games you can just kind of zip through in an afternoon, and that's fun because so much of the joy of these games is like building a new team, replaying these stories that are like zippity doo dah, and you know, you roll credits and then you go again. It's like a roguelike almost in that sense, where you just like you start a new run with a new squad, and like that's the joy. But it's true, Johto is like, you're gonna live with this squad that you have for a little while. But I don't think immediately after, at least like upon the release of Gold and Silver, I don't think that messaging was an issue for them, because I think especially, and you had mentioned earlier, not to be a boomer, but like that was, you know, it was just understood that like you sat with the game for longer because you didn't own a billion other things. You didn't have a battle pass to grind. So
damn, yeah, it was just life.
It was just life. And it was nice. And it's still nice. I love going back to Johto.
I do. One of my founding experiences with Pokemon, and I don't know why this has stuck with me. I have long ruminated on this. This might be a I will remember this 3-year-old moment, unfortunately. But I like to think it has some meaning. I was in like, I don't know, it was like Bible school or something, because, you know, whatever, weird childhood or whatever, and just calling it what it is. But I had finished the Pokédex in Diamond and Pearl, and Diamond and Pearl had this odd quirk to them where you had to see everything before you could move into the post game. And I knew the post game was awesome. I had heard tell from the other kids on the playground that had gunned down, like Noah. Longtime fans of the show will know the jackass Noah, who ran up to me and said he beat it in 12, 14 hours or whatever. And I said, great, who cares? Did you have fun? Like, that's what I was thinking. But he got into the post game, and I knew the post game was awesome. I knew that, I think it was like, I had seen pictures of Leafeon and Glaceon, and I wanted that. I think that was one of the biggest things, is context. And the only thing that I hadn't seen, it was something I didn't know what it was. It evolved into Drifblim. I did not know what it was. I had not seen one, and I had not seen it in any promotional art. And I later learned that Drifloon, the thing that evolves into Drifblim, is a little balloon, and I missed it in its one trainer battle. Only appeared on, what is it, Fridays? Is it Fridays?
Yep, yeah.
Only on Fridays, and it is Tuesday when I figured this out. And I did not know about all the trickery that I could do to get it to not misbehave when I messed with my DS. Because I was 8. Or yeah, I think I was 8. I was 8. Like I don't know, the most pressing thing in my life at the time was getting Drifloon. like now I'm like worried about like rent and stuff, and I was like, damn, Drifloon, I'm gonna get this guy. It's gonna be awesome.
3 whole days for Drifloon.
It's like in 3 days my life is gonna be
that's an
different.
eternity.
I'm gonna be changed. But I was like, in a weird way, like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I was over the moon. I was so excited, waiting for Friday, and I was like, I don't know, like my parents had like systems with this or something. It was like on Wednesday, I was like, well, I gotta be really well behaved, because if I'm not, my DS will get taken away again, and we don't want that, because I want Drifloon on Friday. This is gonna be awesome. I can't wait to see what's happening in this game after Drifloon. And I don't expect any adults to have that, like you pay, like you have like a job or something, like I don't ever want that to happen to you. Like that's like Sisyphus. That's like you're rolling a boulder up a hill and you're really unhappy. I'm not gonna try to say it again.
No, 100%.
I don't want to wish that on anybody, but I was like, I don't know, happy in a weird way when that was happening, and I get glimpses of that every so often. And like I think of it, I was like you said the thing about the Lapras. This is what like, pinged off this whole story, and I was like, oh yeah, like that kind of gets me excited for the weekend. I was like, really? Does it? Like it's like that's a Pokemon that I don't have. Like, but and I don't think it's entirely on. It's not on the game and it's not on the player. Like it's something in between. Like the life has to be worth living, and everyone gets to answer that question. So like I do find both like a lot of value, but also fairness in like if the life's not worth living. Like I don't think that was really like there's not really anything empirical to point at. Just like if Animal Crossing isn't satisfying, like then you have a problem, and that's like that's valid. That's valid. I hate to use the word valid around here, but I don't know. Like maybe it's just like it's just fine. Like it's maybe shut up about it and play a different game. But
sure,
you can fix the problem real easy. But it's like I don't know. It's not a crime. Like, but either way, it's not a crime. Like you didn't do anything wrong. The game didn't do anything wrong. It just wasn't a life worth living.
Yeah, and like I think that gets into like why do you play games in the first place? Is like, is it a form of escapism or not? And I think like the design of Gen 2 is that it's less a form of escapism. And I think like this, back to your point of like what should a game be, I feel like everyone clowns, and rightfully so, on like loot box design or games that are designed to like hijack your dopamine receptors or whatever. But like, and I would have thought that in an environment where we're so detested by that kind of design, that Gen 2 would have aged even better because it's doing the exact opposite of that. I don't know. Like maybe I'm getting.
That's fantastic. I love that. I love that lens. I think that's a really great thing to compare it against. What a wonderful like I don't know, clap back to the haters, because it's like, should you get instant gratification about everything? Like
yeah, and like
it's not like a toy, it's a game. Like you have to play it. Like you have to play the game at some point.
Right, and I'm getting super up my own ass with this, but it's almost meditative, or at least when I was growing up, and maybe like, and again, boomer energy, but like the joys of leveling up your Pokemon, have we forgotten about that? Like I know now it's like grinding sucks. I get it, and I think that's like part and parcel of modern game design, but like back when I was playing these games, like getting a Dragonite from level 89 to 90, no greater joy. And that's it reminds me of like a I wish I was this outdoorsy, but like a lumberjack, like just knocking at a tree for 5 hours, you know? Like you get like meditative with it. I don't know. I feel like that's as close as I'll get to that.
It's true. The levels come slower in Johto, so they do feel like a bigger deal when they happen. And especially in Gold, Silver, Crystal, moves are even fewer and farer between, and moves feel like a much bigger deal in those games. Okay, you mentioned grinding, Akko. I was thinking about kind of the players' relationship with grinding, and how I think if someone has a problem with grinding in a Pokemon game, they don't like playing Pokemon. Okay, here's the whole conceit behind Pokemon.
Fair. That's fair.
You're training your guys, and what is training if not doing battles, right? If you don't like doing battles, I hate to break it to you. Listen, there's a lot of other great games. Like, I don't know if you've heard of The Legend of Zelda. It's pretty fucking good. Anyway. I don't know.
That sounds great.
You know, maybe you've been like sold this promise of what Pokemon is, and then you actually get into the meat and potatoes of it, and you don't like the minute to minute of it. That's fine. That just means Pokemon isn't for you. But here's the thing about grinding, right? Grinding is something you do when you hit a wall. Right? Grinding is something you do when you get to Claire, and Claire is like 6 levels higher than your highest level guy. And you're like, fuck, I gotta get my whole squad up to level like whatever, 40 something, I don't know. And all of my guys are like 32, let's say, right? And so grinding becomes this like dedicated thing that you decide to do, and it's all you're going to do. You stop interfacing with the rest of this game, and all you do at this point is grind. You go south of Blackthorn and you beat up Gravelers for the next 3 hours, right? That's what you do. What if, maybe, if you're complaining about grinding in Johto games, I think you might be playing Johto wrong. What if, as you encounter, maybe you don't use repels. What if, as you encounter wild Pokemon, you beat them up as you go? And then maybe you're a couple levels behind Claire by the time you get there. But to the point that I said earlier, Claire is the 8th gym leader. And I understand that like level wise, Chuck, Jasmine, and Price all kind of like along a similar line, but that's so you have the option of choosing who you want to go to. And I think we can get into maybe that section of the game next, but by the time you get to Claire, I don't think you should be the same level as her Kingdra. I think if you are, that means you interfaced with this game a lot and you'd like it a lot, and maybe you grind it and whatever. That means you probably enjoy Pokemon. But if you're grinding and you're calling it grinding and you're thinking of it as that, like you just want to get it over with, and that means you're just like losing out on what makes these games so good. So that's my 2 cents on grinding, and like that complaint specifically about Johto that I see from people, it annoys me to put it lightly. But yeah, do we want to talk about like how the game, once you get to Ekrotik, it kind of like breaks up, and it opens up a bit more and kind of lets you can go east or west. And yeah, do you want to, Akko, do you want to get into that section?
Yeah, I mean, people get mad if you call it open world, but like considering like limitations at the time, I think that's like not entirely an inaccurate description of it. Like there is player choice, and again, maybe not well executed, but I think like bold for the time. Again, like
can I make a comment about
Please.
that? I think it's really like it's fascinating to me that Gen 1 is like, I feel like universally applauded for letting you go.
Yeah,
like you can go like any order of virtually any order of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I always thought that was so cool. And I feel identically about Johto, but I have met people who have different opinions about the same, what I view as the same pretense.
What do you think the difference is between Kanto and Johto? And I fear, as much as I love Johto, that this might be a point against it. This, I think, Akko is perhaps to the execution of the games. What is the major difference? Like, they allow you in both Kanto and Johto to tackle these gyms in whatever order you choose, right? But what is different about the Kanto gyms?
Does it have to do with like map layout? Because that's where I instantly think of, is because it seems like Kanto's better like laid out in such a way that allows you to access more, or is more intuitive to travel around towns a bit, maybe.
Partly, I think the map implies an order more than maybe Johto's might. But I mentioned it earlier with Chuck, Jasmine, and Price. All of their levels are the same. The Kanto levels still go up. Just you can do Koga before you do Erica. Koga's just going to be hard.
Yeah,
but you can do Koga first.
Right.
So that I think is like, Kanto gets applauded for that, but with the caveat being that like the gyms still feel like there is an order, and then doing it out of order feels cooler because you're more aware that it's out of order. Johto is like, what order is it supposed to be? And they're in an, I don't even, what is it, like Chuck, Jasmine, Price? Is that it? Is that the 5, 6, 7?
I think so. Yeah,
I believe so. Well, Chuck, I guess you technically like, I think Jasmine is almost automatically supposed to come after Chuck. Like, it's you have to like be like, you have to be playing hard and know what you're doing to do Jasmine before Chuck. Like, I think you have to trade, actually. You're gonna have to trade in HM moves if you want to. Maybe you don't have to. No, you will. You have to be going out of your way. Yeah, okay. I squared it away, but it's like if you do Jasmine before Chuck, it's like, what are you doing? Why did why? Like,
yeah, you missed the whole gym on Cyanwood.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think the one that a lot of people point to in regards to those, it's less about Chuck. I think it is more with Jasmine and Price. They're like, Price is the 7th, or listed as the 7th at least, but then Jasmine's Steelix in particular is a higher level than Price's, I don't know, Piloswine. And so people are like,
ice type.
Yeah, and so then I even like before Claire, people get to Jasmine Steelix, and that is like a little bit of a wall for folks. But again, like, I don't know, spend time with the game, enjoy playing the game. Sorry to keep like harping on that, but you know.
Well, no, I think you answered the question I was going to ask about this, is like how open-ended should it be? And I think it's fine. Like with execution in mind, there should be some open-endedness. It's a nice base feeling for you to be able to go where you want to. Especially I think it couldn't be any other way. Like in a game where you're supposed to live your life, every opportunity to just go wherever you want should be inclined in that case. So like perhaps there's some slight execution in that regards. Not even like, not either of those things are necessarily bad, but it's like maybe there's a tiny bit of clashing between the two ideas. Like you get this big sandbox and the direction ends up sort of weird, but like it could almost be like a stylistic choice in the end between those two things of like, do you want the scaling or do you not want the scaling? And like depending on how you live your life, and that's the other thing is like, I think in the this goes for the whole thing, but I don't know why it just occurred to me now, because it's like, if you're playing this as purely as possible, like you're having like the most honest gameplay experience, which I do feel like is important for this, like, I guess, analysis at large of like you draw a conclusion about Johto and you don't know anything about it. It's like that's really important that they didn't tell you what to do. Like even though it's like an open world game and it's like live your life. Like the thing with like Chuck and you go to Cyanwood and you have to, the reason why I was saying you're ridiculous if you go back to Jasmine is because you have to surf to where Chuck is, and then he gives you access to fast traveling, and then you fly back to where you were, which is where Jasmine was. Then you fight her really, really easily. And while not a huge lapse in control, this is, I would say, if not even a grain of sand, there's a tiny bit of control. You're being railroaded slightly in this live your life game.
That part of the game feels like an act almost, or like a section or a chapter or something. You know?
Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought you meant like act, like action, but now I'm totally with you. Yeah, it's an episode. Yeah, like you have to do this sequence. It's a sequence, and I think it's sort of, actually Heart Gold and Soul Silver really, and it's, we're not going to forget to talk about Heart Gold and Soul Silver seemingly trying to intentionally fix its own mistakes. I think there's really something to be said about that, but like Heart Gold and Soul Silver also inserts like a bunch of story over there so that it doesn't feel, I don't think that problem is as prevalent in the remakes, because I feel like really like pivotally identified. It's like, hey, maybe this portion of the game is like sort of weak, like it's supposed to be like pretty open-ended, and let's give it another open end, and just having that fork in the road that you don't necessarily have to go to. Because in Heart Gold and Soul Silver they had an area, so in the original, Cyanwood is this beach on the far left of the map, and it's just a beach on the far left of the map. You're at the end of the road when you do that, and a gym is here, so you have to go and then you go back. But now there is a new cliffside area to the left of it with the big safari zone I was talking about, and I don't even think it's not even required, right? Like you absolutely go over there to train, and he calls you. The safari guy calls you and he tries to get you over there, but you don't have to listen. You don't want to. You can just go back to beating up baddies, and it adds some open-endedness, and it also it does a lot of stuff. But I'm not ready to talk about that stuff yet because we haven't gotten there yet. But this is a good way of putting it. There's like episodes in Johto, and I do kind of think that betrays the theme. Like if this is the theme, then there's incongruency here in that theme. Like I don't think there should be episodes. There has to be episodes because it's a Pokemon game, but it's like I almost feel like the game is like grinding against itself in a way. So,
totally.
Because the theme is supposed to be like more atmospheric, and by adding in episodes, you're like narrativizing it too much.
And you get like locked in. It's like, okay, like clearly this is the thing I'm supposed to be doing, and it's like, and I've always had the thought, it's like on the rocket section, like you can just leave, and I was just like, what if I just left? I'm like, well, I'm gonna have to like, well, this is what I have to do. Like the and I've raged. I'm gonna come up with a way to rage about this guy every episode. But like, I think one of the worst parts about Johto as a game, I'm not kidding, is the guy in Mahogany who says turn around, and I'm not gonna tell you why. That is one of the biggest stains on the game. And now we have the thematic basis for why that is the case, because you get to a point in the road where it's like, look, the road is open in front of me, and there's a crazy guy in front of me who says, turn around, I don't care. I'm not going to give you any hints. I'm not going to help you. You are a stupid child. Turn the hell around right now, and I'm not going to tell you how to move forwards in the game. And so surprisingly, he doesn't even have anything to do with the plot. He is like one of the most verbose roadblocks to exist. And he's not Team Rocket affiliated, as much as it's like, oh, this is one of those transparently cartoonishly bad guys who's not actually, or he's like pretending not to be a bad guy.
Wearing a mustache.
Yeah, like that's what it reads like, where he's like, I'm not gonna just let you pass. I'm Mr. Business, and then he's literally just Mr. Business. It's like, what the hell was your problem? Why did but you didn't tell me to go fight Team Rocket. That's so weird. Like, and I had to, so. Like that is like, and it's, I don't know, this minute like blade of grass inside of Johto, but like I was there 100%. It was just like, well, what do I do? Like I totally thought, those moments are, they maybe are like even more apparent in Johto, and it's like, well, I don't know what to do. Like suddenly there's a road, like suddenly there's barriers. I didn't think this game had barriers. Like the best of Johto really convinces you that it's like, this is open world. Like, I'm living life. And even nowadays, like, I still struggle with that one, because I'm like, did I do everything? It's like, okay, you gotta do Lake of Rage, you gotta make sure that you have all the badges except for prices, and you gotta make sure that you have talked to Lance. You don't necessarily have to beaten Lance, and then you can get the phone call, and then you can go back to Goldenrod, and then after you beat Goldenrod, you have to come back here, maybe, and then at some point you fight... Hello, like,
sure.
I don't need I just need a freaking cookbook to do this, but I'm gonna call, like, I wanted specifically to bring that guy up because it's like the the blind, the purest player. It's like, I think it's really valuable just what the game doesn't communicate on its face. Like, obviously we're way past the point of like, if I really have a problem in a game, I'm gonna look it up because I bought the game, and I don't have time to play games with my game. I spent $40, or in this case I guess $200 at this point to play this one game, and like, I'm not messing around anymore. But like that purity of communication, I do think is valuable for like not only is this good, but like, am I supposed to think it's good?
Yeah, I feel like that's also why people, it leaves, that specific section leaves a lot of, or a sour taste in a lot of people's mouth, is because, especially when viewed in the context of the rest of the franchise, where like it seems to have overcorrected and being like too handholdy, like a game that kind of leaves you that much in the dark, to where I would say that's like not great design, or at least not well communicated, is I think that's valid too. Like it seems like they have the opposite problem in that game of not telling the player what to do.
And those two things don't have to be mutually exclusive. Like, sorry, this is a fast point, but it's like you can be well designed and communicate poorly, and like, I think in many cases, like, that is like, and like, I mean, I have a much better relationship with it now because like, I like it, and I think Heart Gold and Soul Silver are like, they fixed a lot of stuff, and the communication got a lot better. But it's like, I'm not going to pretend like, just because I know this game, that it talks to its players super well, even though I think it does a really super good thing.
This episode of Petalburg Woods is brought to you by Rage Candy Bar. Feel the rage with the delicious Rage Candy Bar, a famous candy only available in Mahogany Town in the picturesque Johto region. Rage Candy Bar is just as effective at healing your Pokemon as a regular potion, but it tastes maddeningly good. It's rage-inducing. Rage Candy Bar is a locally sourced and sold delicacy, and if you don't support local, it fills us with rage! Checking out the Lake of Rage? Grab a Rage Candy Bar on the way to commemorate the trip. Rage Candy Bar, it's all the rage. Find yours only in Mahogany Town for just 300 Pokédollars. Tell them Petalburg Woods sent you to get a free Rage Candy Bar. Thanks to Rage Candy Bar for sponsoring this episode. Now, back to the show. So you had mentioned that Heart Gold Soul Silver kind of fixes a couple things. Adds the Safari Zone to the west of Cyanwood, which is great. Adds the Pokewalker. These things, both of them, maybe allow you to catch a couple new guys that maybe you couldn't initially.
Oh yeah,
in
we have
original Gold and Silver.
We have an itinerary.
So
the Pokemon themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Kick it off. Tell me about it, Capreo.
Well, this is just another complaint, I guess, that I think the three of us have seen about Johto is the just availability of Pokemon that are supposed to have been marketed as from the Johto region, not actually being available even in the Johto region. And this is certainly the case in Gold, Silver, Crystal, but some Pokemon, even with the additions of Heart Gold, Soul Silver, still, I don't know, slip through the cracks and cannot be obtained until the Kanto postgame in some cases, or even all the way into that Slugma is one of the best examples. Yeah. So what do you think of like that being a criticism even?
I mean, this is the one where I'm like yeah, they have a point. Like there's only I've played this game so many times. Interesting. I think Crystal brings up an interesting case. Crystal specifically, like not our Gold, Soul Silver. Crystal specifically brings up an interesting caveat to this. But this is really the one where I'm like, yeah, they have a point. Pretty much every time, and because it's communication ultimately, to me at least, where it's like, and like the communication being, I mean like there's a lot of subliminals here, but if like a Pokemon exists and it is new, I should be able to get it. That's how Pokemon works. That's my relationship with Pokemon. Where's the Pokemon? And it's odd. It's odd for sure. It's especially worse in Gold and Silver, but it's like that there's like gaps, like because I think like I do it less so now just because it's like, I don't know, I'm old and jaded, but it's like I liked looking at the Pokédex. I like seeing the gaps, and it was weird to get to the end of the game. It's like, why do I have gaps? Like, or why do I have things just like it says not found on my map? Like that's like I'm at the end of the game. That's weird. And I almost feel like there's something to be said here for like, is the end of the Gold and Silver games when you beat the Elite Four, or is it when you beat Red? Like I've heard people call Kanto the post game. It's like, is that really even the post game? Especially in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, I don't think you can call Kanto the post game, but that's like a whole like game design can of worms, I guess. I do think it is like, it's common to see and completely understandable that if like someone sees a Pokemon exists in a Pokemon game and it's like a new Pokemon and it's like, oh, like that's the new guy. Like I want to play with the new Pokemon. And I think it's totally fair to get mad that the super cool dinosaur is nowhere to be found. But this is also not a I don't think it's fair to just lump this in on Johto, because like I believe I would say that Gen 5 has the same problem, honestly. Like the distribution up until like Gym 3 is miserable, and so many of the Pokemon, a weird and sort of different problem is like the evolutions are virtually inaccessible in the main game. Like you're never gonna have, like, unless you are a crazy person, and I'm sure you exist, and I'm so happy for you. There is no case in which I, the normal gamer, I'm gonna call myself the normal gamer here for a second, is finishing Black and White with a Hydreigon, like in normal content. And this is because we have a pseudo legendary that evolves at level 63, I believe 12 levels higher than the ace Pokemon of the final boss. No good. That is not good. Hydreigon exists, so I should be able to have it, like, realistically, if I want it. That doesn't mean it shouldn't be like work, but I don't know, maybe there's like some scaling to what work is. But in Johto's case, you just can't do it. You just can't do it. And I think it's weird too. It's like the gratification thing. It's like, oh, it's so like Tyranitar is so attractive. Like give me Tyranitar. That like I see Tyranitar exists, therefore I want it. Like that's as simple as it has to. It's complicated as it be, and so it's like I don't know. Like the prize was, but like the prize should be good, but maybe the prize was too good. Like I get it. I get having a Pokemon that only exists on Mount Silver. That's cool. Story wise, thematically, that's really really cool. I'm frustrated when and it's like also. I think this actually ties back. I think this affects the pacing because I want Tyranitar. Therefore, I might start trying to fly through this game in my virulent thirst for Tyranitar because I like it so much.
That's the prize that you're like in a hurry for.
Yeah, and especially like, I think that especially Heart Gold and Soul Silver does such a good job with its prizes, but on subsequent playthroughs, I always think of like something that actively dissuades me from playing Heart Gold and Soul Silver is I think how cool the Groudon, Kyogre, and Rayquaza encounters are, and like I'm on like a new save, and I'm like, oh,
those are a ways away.
like that, like I have a job. That feels like a lifetime away. Like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's not like fair play for here, but like I don't know, like the Tyranitar is probably the best example of it because you were again maybe not the most normal gamer, but in Kanto, Dragonite you can technically get I think with 3 badges, right?
Wait.
I mean you can buy Dratini in the Celadon game corner.
Yeah, you can buy Dratini, and then you can evolve it into Dragonair. Okay, I feel like I feel like Tyranitar's situation is like the evolution of Dragonite in Red and Blue, where like maybe I was training my team wrong, but I don't know how realistically by the end of the game you can get a Dragonite. Maybe I wasn't optimizing for it, or I was like growing up. I have very strong memories growing up just battling wild Pokemon in Victory Road under the sheets of my bed, like with trying to get Dragonair to level 55. But I don't know. I feel, and especially considering its high level curve, same thing with Tyranitar, and that I think that's the idea. I think the intent behind a Dragonite or a Tyranitar is that there's work to be done even post game, and I think that's also the idea with like post. Like the Johto late game encounters where like even if you've beaten Red, like there's still some gaps to be filled. And again, like we could go back and forth on whether that was like well executed. But I think like that is the core idea that I don't know, maybe I haven't dived deep enough into modern games that seems like it's been kind of lost where like there's a rare Pokemon, and especially when viewed in context of like the games being more multiplayer focused, like imagine flexing a Tyranitar to all your friends on the playground growing up. I don't know.
Totally.
Like I think there's that there's engineered rarity. There's engineered rarity, and like again, is that good game design? Maybe not. But I think like that seems to be the intent of these like distribution problems, which I will concede like they suck, especially on revisits. Like they're not fun, but I think that's the idea.
I want to pose the question again, like as totally open ended, because I think it's so interesting, and I really want your take on this, Caprio. Is it's like how available should the Pokemon be? That's a great point. I feel like we just perfectly went back and forth. It's like cool Pokemon should be rare, but also Pokemon exist, and I should have them. How available should they be? And I feel like Johto is such a good like answering ground for this question, because I think like I mean they didn't come out and say it, but they kind of said, yeah, we were maybe a little too hard on you, and made some stuff available earlier. It's not a complete cakewalk, but it's like, yeah, we'll adjust a tiny bit. So
sure,
how available should Pokemon be? Or I don't know, any collectible in any game is like the prize. How easy should the prize be?
Right. So like let's look at Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald. You can't play through that game with a Beldum. You get Beldum at the end of that game as a prize exclusively. Which sucks. Beldum is a good prize. Metagross is a stupid good Pokemon. Extremely good Pokemon, right? But you can't play through the game with a Beldum. Beldum only knows takedown, so like you're not really supposed to. So Beldum is designed as a prize really well because of that, right? It only knows takedown. You're giving this thing an experience share. That's why it only knows takedown. You're not using it actually. Larvitar can be used. And so the anger, I think, with the accessibility of Larvitar or Slugma, I don't know how many people are mad about Slugma, but people get mad. Houndour, I think, is another good one. Houndour, I don't think can be regularly accessed. I think in Heart Gold Silver, maybe you can get it in the Pokewalker. Anyway, that's in the weeds. These are Pokemon that can be like have regular movesets and are cool. Have Houndour has a unique type combo, right? These are Pokemon that people want to use on their teams, on their playthroughs. So, okay, by the time we play through Johto and we get to the Elite Four for the first time when we roll credits, we have a team of 6, right? So then when we get into Kanto, we have a team already. Mm-hmm. So if we're seeing Slugma, Houndour, Larvitar in the Kanto post game, whether you view Kanto as a post game or not, I think just has to do with how you personally frame it. But you still, again, by the time you do the Elite Four the first time and you roll credits, you have a team of 6 already. And in fact, you've probably had that team of 6 since Ecruteak City. Mm-hmm. Odds are, right?
Yeah. I think you're right.
I think the issue with accessibility, and even if Larvitar was similar to a Bagon situation. Bagon you can only access in Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald after you get Waterfall. You got to go all the way to Meteor Falls, but at least you can get a Bagon, and theoretically, similar to Dragonite, similar to Hydreigon, if you're a freak, you can catch and level that Bagon to be a Salamence by the time you do the League. The difference is the option is there. Larvitar, there's no option. So that's the issue with. That's why I fully empathize actually with this criticism of Johto, because I want to get the guy on my team too before I fight the League for the first time. After I fight the League for the first time, my team is set in stone. And I don't know, by the time like you catch Larvitar, it's like level 10, right? That's not catching up. Again, you can just decide, right? You can be like, I am going to have a team of 5 and then an HM user on my team. And then when I get to Mount Silver, I'm going to catch a Larvitar and then level it up like a freak. So then I have a Tyranitar for the red fight. But that's kind of like, that's the last like big checkpoint for you to have a Tyranitar for at that point.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, I love the Beldum comparison because I think the key difference between like a Tyranitar and a Metagross is that there's, as I think the post game, where in Emerald there's like a frontier, maybe Ruby Sapphire has Battle Tower too, so there's like opportunity to use Metagross even during the post game, and I think that is a knock against like Johto Gen 2 games, is that these options that they give you aren't applicable or like readily applicable except for to rebattle like boss fights. And even if you did level the Pokemon up, like your Larvitar up to Tyranitar, like on a first playthrough, I don't even know if you necessarily know a boss fight is coming up, so I don't know if you'd have the forethought to do all that. But yeah, I think like that is the knock, I would say, on like the distribution there, is that it's more so it's like a completionist thing more than it is like a real option, or like there's no real place to use your cool Tyranitar after you beat Red.
But I guess
they
had mentioned
kind of addressed it.
You had mentioned the flex, showing your friends, look, I have a Tyranitar, right? That's like a status thing at that point.
You kind of rolled me in. I was like, yeah, that's good. That feels good.
That's what Tyranitar is for. Metagross, you're right. Metagross is for the tower. Metagross is for the frontier. Metagross is literally awarded to you by Steven Stone on a silver platter. Here, take this, train it. You're gonna want it. You're gonna need it frankly, I needed it for the fucking Emerald Tower. Anyway, you're going to need it for fucking Annabelle and the gang.
Yeah.
But yes, the flex. Tyranitar is the social playground flex. So is Dragonite.
Yeah.
And there was just a shift in how they approached the pseudo-legendary prize at the end of the game in Gen 3.
Mm-hmm. Two things that I wanted to note. There's not critics. These are really more just context that I think is odd, really, is that Larvitar, I specifically mention it, and I just find it so strange. This is like world context is like, I wasn't watching the show a huge amount at this point, but I think the show, while not like official material, is like very potent communication for what the game is supposed to be, or like what you're supposed to get out of it, and they misstep all the time, even like way more than the game. But it's like they knew what they were doing when they had Ash or the Larvitar, and he wasn't done yet. I've always thought that's really interesting. And then and I know it probably sounds like we're being really crazy about one specific Pokemon, but it's like kind of like a, I don't know, like Larvitar I think is a good representation of the whole problem. Like Larvitar speaks for like this like 20-30 Pokemon that are ultimately affected by this, because I think most people would agree in many ways is the most desirable one. But outside of the catching and the having element of this, I don't even like, it's like, I guess maybe for your immersion this could be a bad quality, but in a sub point of this, there might be a communication thing with the gym leaders, the bosses. They don't have Johto Pokemon a lot of the time, and that's never bothered me, because I don't know, like I see somebody say that, I'm like, okay, damn, like I'm sorry I'm a gym leader in Johto and my favorite Pokemon is Bulbasaur. Like, okay, like
Chuck's like, I just really like Poliwrath. I'm sorry, I know Hitmontop exists, but I just really like the frog guy.
Can't blame him.
My brain has gone weirdly, but like, I feel like there's like a picture being painted though. Like that isn't a criticism, but like, and I know it doesn't hurt the game in any way for me, but I feel like there's maybe some intent, like messaged by the game is like, yeah, why don't they have any new, like, that seems, if it's such a consistent choice, like, I don't know, when it reaches the point of being a pattern, and I do think it's kind of a pattern, like Claire is kind of like a standout gym leader for having the Kingdra on her team, and you know, why was this so consistently the case? And I think in some ways it's like maybe just like bad circumstance, like, no, Bugsy could not have a Scizor, that's like, no.
Yeah. But could Bugsy have had, I don't know, an Ariados or a Ledian, or are they like I think if Johto was made today, yeah, Bugsy probably would have had a Ledian, but they were like, Scyther is a bit more imposing. Bugsy maybe could have had a Heracross, I don't know. I feel like that wouldn't have been too bad.
Yeah, that would have been, you can catch him in the town, actually. Yeah. I hope somebody got fired for that blunder. But I feel like these two things is like surrounding context. So like the show really leaned into new Pokemon. That was one of my favorite parts about it, was it's like Ash is hanging out with Phanpy, Ash is hanging out with Heracross, Ash is hanging out with Larvitar, and Ash is terrible in Gen 2. Some of his worst behavior and worst plays. But the Pokemon are really fun. He's having a good, like, well, they're having a good time. And there's like these interesting characters, like the Meganium girl. She might be my favorite character in the anime, like maybe like side character of all time. She's super cool. She's like the yellow baseball player or whatever. But this kind of combined with me mentally when this, I don't know, these are like 3 points that like pinged at once that I want to, I guess, open the floor to again. It's like, it was Gen 2. This is the second time they're doing it. They've got a new class and an old class. And they've experimented with it. This is something that I think they have really potently experimented with in later games. So here's a what is Pokemon supposed to be question on the subject. Should Pokemon be familiar or new and daring? And like, what should that balance be? Like, you know, there's like the reason why kids at the time hated Black and White, I think, is ultimately like revolving in this question. You know, where's Pikachu, famously, when you get Black and White? something that worked for Kanto, but then something that was like, I don't know, like it's discussed every gen. Like that's like part of the Sinnoh discourse is like, oh, no fire types, but here's Crobat and Azumarill again, and how the distribution I can make it like be like a different can of worms, but like as a whole, how new should a Pokemon game be? Because it's like they probably thought at the time, it's like, well, like this is our second outing, like we gotta have Pikachu, like we gotta have the old guard here, like these guys don't know Porygon 2 or Scizor, like maybe that went into the gym thing, is like, I don't know, Scizor could flop. Like we're at a time in Pokemon's life, I feel like we have to consider that context where it's like they like may have legitimately thought Scizor could flop. Like I know that's crazy to say, because like, no, Scizor could never flop ever. Scizor, you're a baby girl, like obviously, but like we're at a time in Pokemon's life where it's like, oh, we've got 100 new guys. What if they don't like him as much?
Yeah, I think that's like the tension of every Game Freak game, every Pokemon game in existence, is how much do we want to lean on familiarity. I think at this point they've largely decided, they've largely made their decision.
Have you heard of Charizard before, by the way? I really like this Charizard guy.
Right. But like I think that's, I feel the same way on Kanto Pokemon being mainly featured in Johto games. I think like the counter I normally would go to is like they're using the other 8 types that wouldn't have normally had gym leaders. I think when you consider that it was just their second gen, I'm sure they wanted to like reestablish familiarity with maybe some Pokemon from Kanto that weren't super featured at the time. Like like Poliwrath. Like when do you hear about Poliwrath? Or
I like that Farfetch is in the woods.
Right. Yeah, so like I think there's reasons for that, and I don't entirely, I think like we have the benefit of hindsight to say that like that was a dumb choice, but like yeah, to your point, Droomish, at the time like they don't know if the new ones are going to land, so like of course they want to like, especially when they're developing this game while the original Red and Blue are going like bonkers, like cultural phenomenon, they're probably even more nervous about like, oh my god, like they love these original ones, they might hate these new ones, so I don't know how much to go into the new ones. So I'm sure that's like always a constant tension, and especially so for Gen 2. So I think that I feel like that criticism is so hindsight benefiting. Like now of course we know we want the new Pokemon, we're tired of like Pidgey or whatever, but like yeah, they had no idea. So I think that's like, it's easily explained by just like the era in which the game came out. Yeah, like
I'm not thrilled, but like I feel like you're just driving like fairness. Like it's fine, and also like how are they supposed to know? Like how could they? Like this, it is like I'm not gonna give them as much credit now. It's like, oh, Charizard again, like
right.
That's really interesting, but like in 1999 is so like it was so fair. Like
yeah,
I mean, Charizard not even like obtainable in Gold, Silver, Crystal, right?
Wow,
like,
look at them.
It's in the opening movie. When you boot the game up, Charizard's using fucking flamethrower.
I'm gonna be able to get Charizard in this game. Oh my god!
If that's not false advertising, I don't know what is.
Yeah. That's funny.
It does feel weird for like Faulkner to have Pidgey and Pidgeotto instead of like Hoot Hoot and Noctowl or something like that. For any gym leader, I think, to not have a Pokemon that is from their own region. But it does for Poliwrath, I think is such a perfect example of making Poliwrath Chuck's like guy, just like giving Poliwrath like a second chance. And then Johto Pokemon have since had their second chances in like other games since. But I think it felt like a subversion of expectations when Claire sends out a Kingdra. I feel like for the levels,
I thought it was bullshit, personally.
Well, why did you think it was bullshit?
Dude, I lost. Bullshit.
Oh, fair, true. Yeah, you're right. She's cheating because she has a Kingdra and Kingdra's
I just
broken.
beat different can of worms. Different episode. Pokemon gym leader with trait evolution Pokemon makes me think thoughts, but not the time.
You bring up a great point. Yeah. Why? How do they have Gengar and Alakazam in them? I don't know. I think like Claire, because Kingdra's the only dragon type introduced in Gen 2. And so Claire, I think, has like two Dragonairs maybe, and then the Kingdra. And so I don't know. Pokemon's had some shenanigans before where they've had some underleveled Pokemon. So like, I think maybe the first time going into Claire, you see the Dragonairs, you're like, okay, she's gonna have a Dragonite in the back for sure. And then it's a Kingdra, and especially if that's like if you think back to like the year 2000 and you're playing this game for the first time and you haven't seen Kingdra yet, this is like the reveal for Kingdra.
Mind blowing.
As like the ace for the 8th gym. That's so cool. So I think it is like for fully evolved Pokemon in a new generation, like in Black and White, I think the first time you see Hydreigon is when Ghetsis uses it, and that's also a cool reveal. You're like, fuck, this cool ass 3-headed dragon. So I really like
cool.
I really like when they have like big reveals like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think I'm trying to. I don't know. I don't want to be the freaking Melvin being
Please,
like
be the Melvin
tabulating about it, but I'm just trying to think of like who that is missing for. Like I'm harping on Scizor, but I fully think that is the case. Where's the Scizor? I think, and I don't want to misquote this. I will look it up really, really fast. I think Gary had a Scizor. I want to say I can think of Gary having a Scizor.
As the 8th gym leader for Kanto?
No, like in the show.
Oh, okay.
He did. Yeah. He
okay, cool.
He was in the Silver Conference, and it was like, oh my gosh, like this is amazing.
Because I guess
really like Scizor.
They gave Steelix to Jasmine, and Jasmine would have been broken beyond recognition if she had both Steelix and Scizor, I think. But I don't know. I mean, like Whitney's Miltank is famously, I mean, one of the most infamous bosses in the series.
Mm-hmm. That's a really good one.
And then,
I think it's just it's not like it. I think it's a little bit of a stretch to say that it's like this is terrible. It's disappointing that every Pokemon didn't get some like bombastic reveal, but it's also like, I mean, even in this game where there were so few new ones added, it's like, hey buddy, there's 100 Pokemon. Like we cannot. It's not happening. Sorry.
We have to pad out this place with some Pidgeys and Rattatas.
You have to catch some of them too. Also, like you have to have a moment. Like we can't just show them all to you. So I'm not coming up with a huge amount. It would have been nice for there to be a Hitmontop trainer, a Porygon 2 trainer, and a Scizor trainer. But just like you said, we've got a Kingdra trainer, we've got a Steelix trainer. We've got a
Piloswine.
The Piloswine. Piloswine's cool. Like that's a cool reveal. So, light disappointing. Does not. It barely feels like after this discussion. It barely feels even like warranted being at the table of like have some sense. It's Pokemon. Like there's 250 of them. Like calm down.
What do you both think of the Kanto postgame? Like when you beat the Johto Elite Four for the first time, you're about to go to Kanto. How do you feel?
Oh yeah, the thing that I always tell people is a super underrated part of Gen 2 and Gen 4, or like the remakes, is that when you step off the boat, you're in Vermilion City, and that remixed like Vermilion City theme plays. The coolest thing ever. And I think that like that whole reveal that like, wow, there's a whole nother region there, and we'll get into like what that region is, but like I think that as someone who went from Fire Red back to Gen 2, awesome moment, super cool reveal. And I think like that's my general like takeaway. Cool, like they didn't have to do it, they didn't do it ever again. And I think that's like worth commending them for.
Yeah, props for trying. Like even before getting into it, it's like that's crazy that they went for it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. It did feel like unbelievable. Like they're actually going to let me go back in this game that I'm already playing. Like obviously you could go back. You could see Kanto again in Fire Leaf Green, Red, Blue, Yellow, whatever, but they're going to let me go there in this game 3 years later. How has Kanto changed? That's pretty cool.
Exactly. And that's the thing that I feel like that's okay. My thing with Kanto is I feel like, and again, execution problems abound, but the intent for Gen 2 was you're going back to the old game. Why? Like, why are you even doing that? And I feel like the answer they present is to see like this region already conquered, because again, we're going back to the theme of Gen 2 being about reflection and sort of like what it means to live in a world that's already been like conquered. And I think Kanto, for all of its faults, like that's the feeling it gives. Maybe it doesn't offer like an exhilarating gameplay experience, but like it's showing you the world post Red, and it offers enough, I think, to show that progression. Cinnabar Island is like a huge like indication of that I think is like honestly one of the strongest points of Kanto. But yeah, I think it's completely in line with the themes, with the overall theme of Gen 2, which is it's this more atmospheric, more patient, more quiet, and more reflective experience. It asks the player to reflect on a game that they may or may not have played, which is, we could say maybe not best implementation, but I think it's cool that they do that. It's completely in line with the anti-power fantasy, I think, idea of Gen 2, where like you go through Kanto, you beat Red, and then what? Like nothing happens. Like you get a credits roll, but like you don't get like a big speech about like why Red is there or like really anything. And I think that's kind of in my head what they're going for. And when I played, I remember feeling like that's kind of like there's like that emptiness. Like there's a million video essays about how like this is the coolest place in Breath of the Wild because nothing happens or there's nothing there, or like this is the loneliest place in video games.
Oh my god, give me a break. But yeah, your point is correct.
That's like that's the, I don't know. That's what I like about it, and it frustrates me when people like talk down on the Kanto experience, because like it's not perfect, but I think it's super bold, super interesting. I don't know.
This one I think is harder to ask, like, because it's like I think it's almost weird to complain. There's plenty of complaints about Kanto somehow when it's like this is such an extracurricular offering, and like part of that dev cycle that we mentioned in the beginning was like cramming a second region in here. That's unbelievable. Like there's a huge offering that like I can be critical, I can think that things are weird, but it's like this is too much to say that it's like I don't know, I just got like a free second cake and like a flavor that I think is like
right.
It's like I don't know, it's like my fourth favorite flavor of cake, and I'm like, I was like, it's like, but I just got a free cake. Like, are you kidding me?
Right.
Like, we are complaining about cake right now. We were complaining about free cake. Is that where we are right now with this game? Like, you played a game. That was a pretty good game. Here's another game. How can so I feel odd. Like I don't have like as much of an optic of like, I don't know, what should a game be, because it's like there's no other Pokemon game like this. This is the ask of every single, like it's like the most fantastical dream of every Pokemon game. It's like, what could you go to a different region? And only recently have they started experimenting with you paying for an extra smaller region to go along with it. So it's like you look back on this game and it's like, I don't know, I kind of like count my blessings that it exists. Like I'm more that like the Vermilion unload is one thing, but just like existing there, sometimes I just think is crazy. Like some of the music, I don't know, almost bothers me in a way, because it's like it's a distortion of what I'm used to, because I like playing Fire Red and Leaf Green so much, but it's just like I don't know what a life that they really went for this. And I guess the only thing that I think it maybe like brings the question of, and this isn't like, I don't know, the game doesn't really even do this intentionally. It's almost like a subtractive question that comes into mind is like, and not like obviously the two regions are next to each other, and eventually you don't have to take the boat anymore and you can just walk or fly, whatever you want to do. But it's like, does this inclusion and also like the world once conquered theme, I like that idea so much. Is like, I don't know, like, is like Johto less special? Like, I do end up feeling a bit strangely about Johto as like I don't know, as an idea. Like, is and this is something I have written down I just feel weirdly about it. In full honesty, like, I don't think that this is really even a criticism to be made. I don't exactly understand it, but I do like wonder. It's like, I don't know, like, is Johto just Kanto's side piece? Like if there were like feudal relationships between these two countries, is like Johto like, I don't know, like under the thumb of Kanto? Like, does Kanto hold all the cards or something? But it's interesting how many questions are kind of like surfaced by having two regions that are right next to each other and then like getting them chronologically, because it certainly makes, I don't know, like in some ways it makes Kanto feel significantly more important to me, but in some ways it makes Kanto feel significantly less important to me also. And that's why I think it's ultimately a good thing, because you get to have a favorite country or town or whatever. Like, that's kind of just like, that came free with your being alive thing. Like, you get to like things about both of them. And I do think, I don't know, and I feel so weird criticizing it, but it's like the areas that are smaller in Kanto that are like clearly the victim of, they just couldn't have it all, like Viridian Forest is like, it does feel a tiny bit bad, but also I'm just trying to be as thorough as possible. We're in a free cake situation. We're in a free cake situation, folks. There is, I don't know. There's nothing to be said here except thematically. Like, I also think like is like in the I'm gonna give you, you're saying with the like the, oh, this place is so cool, the I don't know, the Breath of the Wild video or whatever, like the
right.
whatever,
loneliest places in Red Dead Redemption 2.
See,
or whatever.
I love those videos. They've been so commodified. Because I kind of feel like I'm like in the boat with them, like as like a creator myself, but it's like, oh my goodness, they're so commodified. Oh my goodness, it is just like people want the weird little thing. But Kanto feels sad. I do want
100%.
to posit that, and I think that like as like an analysis and experience, especially if you have played Fire Red and Leaf Green or Red and Blue, I think it might, maybe in a way that's even like difficult to digest, it might make this section feel weaker. But I think that is totally valid, because it's like, what happened to my baby? Like, this is Gen like this is like the Gen 1ers are not happy in Johto's Kanto, because it's like, it's like if you like consume it as somebody living there, it's like, damn, this place went to shit. Like in some places, like, oh, like Viridian Forest sucks now. Like,
yeah,
the gym situation is crazy. Where's the haunted house that I like so much? Why did they fix that? That's really upsetting. Why can't I go inside of the big office building anymore? I thought that was really, really cool. So like, but I almost feel like it's like the people who feel that way are like arguing in the best faith for Johto, because it's like, that's like a totally experiential thing. And so this is like maybe like both like the most interesting and least interesting component of it, because it's like when you start talking about Kanto and it's like the weakness or strength of Kanto when it's being like attached, like, I don't know, maybe like a cyst to Johto, like in its like most negative, like, I don't know, like if you like hate it, it's like, oh, this is like a tumor attached to my lovely Johto, or it's like, oh, what like a beautiful expansion on something that I'm familiar with. Like, I think if you have really strong opinions about this, like even if it is free cake, it's like, but if it's like experiential, it's like, I think you're doing the right thing. Like it's just because that's just like culture. Like it made you feel something, and
Exactly.
maybe communicating that it is a weakness with the game is not like exactly the case. Like it's not exactly what you're trying to say. But I definitely have a lot more sympathy for people who are like, I don't know, like Kanto feels weird because yeah, games should make you feel weird. Good on you for feeling something when you consumed a piece of art.
Yeah, that's why I go back to like this game is so like it's so bold in that it took what came before it and kind of shat all over it. Like it's like the protagonist is nowhere to be seen. You can't go into these buildings. The haunted place is now like commodified and become like a radio tower or whatever. Like I think that's such a
one of the islands died. One of the islands died. Like
like it's such a cool like or like it's a ballsy choice if nothing else. Like to take what worked before and expand it into something like very I think sad is the perfect or like somber is like a good word to describe all of Kanto. But I think it's all, and this is why I think my what I will come down on is Kanto is not the post game because the themes and like atmosphere of Kanto is perfectly in sync with the idea of Gen 2 as a whole, because Gen 2 is so obsessed with like tradition and like history, things that came before it. You have this grand narrative about like how Ho-Oh resurrected Pokemon from the dead, whereas in the last games you just get Moltres, Zapdos, Articuno. Where they come from, I don't know. Like they're kind of just hanging out. Like there's a whole like legacy is such a central part of this game, and Kanto is like perfectly fits into that idea of like what ought to be preserved, what doesn't get preserved, is that good or bad? And I feel like, and this is like a larger criticism I have that people, or I have about people who say that Pokemon doesn't have a story. I think like the stories in Pokemon aren't, at least the older games aren't, and especially in Gen 2, it's not heavily narrativized except in the weird places that we talked about earlier with like the episodes. But I think so much of the story is told through like the experience of it. It's and it's more feelsy, I guess, is where I come down. And I think like there's so many things in Kanto where legacy and what comes after something great, that all seems to be part of the story that Gen 2 is trying to tell.
I'm wondering if I can clarify something, because you've been describing Johto's Kanto as like sad and somber. Is this both Gold, Silver, Crystal and Heart Gold, Soul, Silver Kanto, or just the OG? Because I feel like Heart Gold, Soul, Silver Kanto is like vibrant and like normal. That's just me.
Yeah, that's fair. I never thought about that. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, like you have a fully formed Verdian forest. You have like, I don't know. I haven't thought of it.
Is it like actually how it's presented, or is it like what it represents?
It's totally in my head. I think like even Heart Gold and so like I haven't been in Kanto much. In Gold is the one that I actually got there. But Heart Gold and Soul Silver Kanto really reminds me of the suburb that I grew up in, just because it just changed a lot. And when I go home, it has been overdeveloped to hell, and there's like 1,000 new businesses that I don't recognize, and none of my friends live there anymore. And like I don't know, I go see my parents, I don't recognize anything. And like the shape is still the same, and it's pretty and colorful, but I am sad that what I knew is gone.
No, I'm with you now. I'm with you. You sold me big time. I'm gonna shed a tear actually.
That's like experiential. It's like I don't. It's almost like that is almost like valuable to it. Even though that is making me sad. Like I am like, I don't know. I am glad that as a human I can go do that, kind of. Like I am glad to have cried. I am glad to have lost, even. Yeah. So it's good. Like it's good. Weird. It's weird and good.
it plays with nostalgia, I think, in a way that like modern games don't really. Like modern game, the philosophy seems to be, yeah.
Like they literally can't. This is a power unique to Johto. I think that is such an important point because it's like none of the other games can do that. They can't. They say, "Hey, look at Kanto. It's all weird and messed up now because of stuff you did in a past life."
Yeah.
I have a question. If you remember the first time that you played through Johto, whether that was the originals or Heart Gold Soul Silver, and you get to Pallet Town, your first time. Right? And you go in Red's mom's house and she's there and she's like, "Oh, you remind me of my son. I wonder what he's up to." Anyway, did that made me emotional when I was 13? I don't know.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's the same idea. It's like, yeah, things that were familiar at one point have changed and it's weird and yeah, it's kind of sad. And I think it's because they could have easily done like, and I think to your point, Capreo, about Heart Gold Soul Silver feeling more vibrant, and I think they did lean a little bit into it, but I liked how restrained they were in the way they upgraded the game specifically for Kanto's sake, because I think it retains that like, oh, everything's kind of different now, and that's kind of a bummer in some ways, and in other ways less of a bummer. I think that's like what I respect a lot about those games is that they were very intentional, it seemed, with the benefit of time and like more time to reflect on Gen 2 of like what to keep and what to leave behind. But I think that core message of like, yeah, things are different now, and it's not always a good thing. And then on top of that, with that message to the mom that the mom says, is also it's both a nostalgic somberness and also like foreshadowing, like, oh, there's something out there, like there's still more plot. Whoa. I think that's super cool.
Yeah, totally.
But if this is like, I don't know, I feel like this is rare, but it's like if this is like anything to do with Kanto in these thematic ways as a criticism, then I just think you are wrong. Like, or like you're wrong about, well, you're like wrong about yourself. It's like just because the game because the game that usually makes you happy made you sad, like that can't, like, that's not bad by virtue of itself. Like that is the art being bold, if you will. Like, I don't think that that's a fair criticism to levy to a story, like, because it is the story. Like, even it's like you said, like Pokemon, they do subject you to sagas. I think that the sagas are getting more common these days. Like, there's always like a big central plot, and it's like a saga, for better or for worse, it's something that happens to you. But Pokemon has been rich with stories since the very beginning. Yeah, it's just more atmospheric at the beginning, and like this is a consequence of storytelling. I think while there is like maybe more that they wanted to do with Kanto in both iterations, or just like in the original vision, it ultimately comes down to a very bold storytelling. I think it would be short-sighted to not at least like ponder, like to think like, oh, like that's, what does that mean? Like, what does that mean to me? And like you're really not. I guess it's like helpful. Like if a game communicates with you poorly, it is helpful to say, hey, that was bad. Like, you're being a bad game right now. But when a story makes you feel certain things and there is no absence of communication, you are being bad when you say, I didn't like that. You should at least think on that and, I don't know, draw some, because like this feels like a more sophisticated point. Like somebody's upset about this, and it's like I feel for them. Like, it's like, yeah, like it is sad. That's crazy. Pokemon made me sad. It doesn't usually do that. I love this game. That's great. Sad is good sometimes. So I think this is really cool. But it is like it's asking more of you. And you know, for some people, Pokemon is an emotionally easy game. I go get the little colorful guys. Like, I think Kanto was maybe like, it's my prime. You said that, and I thought of Kanto. It's like Gold, Silver, Crystal, Heart Gold, and Soul Silver. They ask a lot of you. Kanto asks a lot of me because I have to like square away. Like, I go there and I always think is like, one day I'm not even going to be able to recognize the town that I grew up in anymore, and I already don't. Like, that's like, this is what I'm saying. Is like, it's like that's life. I don't necessarily like it, but I feel like it's making like what a story. What a story to put in the Pokemon game.
Yeah,
Wow.
I don't know what criticisms you could have of the narrative of the Kanto portion of the game, really. Like, I feel like the biggest criticisms against Kanto would be like, I feel like there's like a general emptiness is like people's problem with it. But like, if that's the point and that's the story they're trying to tell, I don't know how you improve upon that. I guess like gameplay wise, like the wild trainer or the trainers on routes are like not the strongest. Like, I think in Crystal, like there's some trainers that have like level 7 Rattatas or whatever, right?
Right.
Those
They haven't
very
grown in the
weird.
3 years.
Right. Yeah, I think that is a weird choice, like narratively, to tie that back, because like those people haven't changed. But I guess maybe that's the point they're trying to make. I don't know. I feel like at that point you're kind of making a stretch. But
I kind of view the Kanto gym leaders as like a boss rush, and that's also I do for what it's worth, I do frame the Kanto portion of these games as a post game, and so because of that, I view the Kanto gym leaders as this like. I always do it, but I do sort of consider it optional. Like, I think if you beat the league the first time and then you roll credits and you were done with these games, like, I'm not saying that this is how I play them, but I think like if that's how a person decided to play these games, I think that'd be fine. I think they beat Lance. I don't know. They didn't get to Red, but like Red is like this like. I don't know, secret boss, really.
Yeah, he's
right?
a mythological figure at this point.
Yeah.
Like,
so I kind of view the Kanto gym leaders as a boss rush, and definitely as like if you played Red, Blue, Yellow, or Fire, Red, Leaf, Green before you played this Gen 2 game, the fan service is incredible for these gym leader rematches, I think. And
yeah,
Gen 2, I think we mentioned this maybe in the last episode, Droomish, where like Gen 2 was like the first game to do this, but like lean into it so heavily of the continuity that Pokemon has like continued to kind of build its brand on and like keep revisiting places. But like Johto in particular, with letting you revisit the Kanto region, especially after an amount of time has like elapsed, is fascinating. And especially I think playing against or fighting the Kanto gym leaders with like these new and interesting teams. Janine in particular, even though like Janine functionally is, I don't know, just another like poison type boss, but like thematically or in universe, like Janine being Koga's daughter is like so cool. And I'm so stoked that they made that choice and like decided to make like family and like that aspect and like legacy become like a part of the series at large.
Legacy, if you will.
Yes, as recently as the Scarlet and Violet DLC with now Clay's daughter, like they're still doing it, and it's one of the best decisions they've
so
ever
cool.
made. She's awesome. Lacey,
I want to be like her. I want to be just
great.
like Lacey.
Fairy type Excadrill is evil, but Lacey's awesome.
I never considered that before. Like Pokemon has a like the stuff I love about Pokemon is like standing on the shoulders of Johto, because like they could just do like, I don't know, like because I don't know, it's like inspired by Dragon Quest. Well, I don't know, like Pokemon could be like, I'm not gonna I don't know Dragon Quest well enough to say this conclusively, but it could be like Final Fantasy, where it's like Final Fantasy 8, the only thing it has in common with 7 are like the Final Fantasy things. Like it's like there's like moves and energy and materia or whatever and like chocobos, but like
these are new people in new places.
Yeah, like this is like a new existence. This is a new hypothetical, and this is what made, and they took a gamble. I mean, regardless of how big it feels now, it was again a gamble on these games, like to like let's keep telling the story, and even no matter where we go, we're gonna keep telling the story. That's so interesting. Good point. I like great big point to Johto. That's a big point to Johto in my book. I already liked him. I like him even more.
So, I have one more question, I think.
Yeah.
Johto at large, maybe. I guess these games at large, perhaps. Can we talk about the red fight? And by talk about, I mean like gush about it and glaze it to the heavens.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's the best fight in the series, right? Am I right?
It's fine.
100%.
Droomish, what's you're not maybe on the same page as me and Akko.
It's fine. It's I don't know. I guess I'm a real snob. I disagree with the choices. I disagree with the choices.
What do you mean? What choices?
I'm going to his page. I actually, I just don't. I don't feel like this was like really here or there. But like you're asking me about it, and it does. Let me see. Where is he? Oh my God! There's so many characters named Red. Oh, okay, here we go. Okay, so I feel a certain way about the decision to remove the Espeon in Heart Gold and Soul Silver. I think that is a very poor thematic choice. I think it really meant something that he had an Espeon in. I think it really, because you can even do storytelling with the teams, and while it's like his team is the guys, like these are the fellas, if you will, but it's like, especially at this point, this is a boring team. I'm so sorry that I have to drop that bombshell, but especially with the taking away. Oh, what? Especially with the taking away of Espeon and Heart Gold and Soul Silver, like they picked the safest, most generic possible team. Like this is like the Pokemon team. Like if I was I don't know, trying to get people on the street to tell me Pokemon that they knew, they would come up with Red's team. I could get a team of street interviewers in my town. They could come up with Red's team if I just told them, it was like, can you tell me Pokemon? Or like if you don't tell me 5 Pokemon, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna pass out. And they're like, Charizard, Pikachu, Snorlax, maybe. And I think I would get to Red's team. It's so disinteresting. I understand why it's so disinteresting. The Espeon removal really, really hurts. But
yeah.
I don't think it compares at all to the image of, and I mean, this is really, really not this isn't my Red. So ultimately this probably even isn't a criticism, but it's a point that I still want to make, because it's my Red is the Adventures manga Red. And I went into Heart Gold and Soul Silver with a very concrete idea of Red, and that's why it really bothered me that they removed his Espeon, because that was a really, really important note for the character. But I think some personality would have gone a long way in this team, even if they didn't go all the way. And just as a note of what I mean, his I'm Red team in the manga that he fought Gold with, well, maybe they didn't fight Gold with, but they beat the game with, so to speak, was Poliwrath, Venusaur, Pikachu, Snorlax, Gyarados, and Aerodactyl. And then I think Espeon was a sub slot in there. I believe Espeon comes in for Gyarados, because Gyarados is being borrowed from Misty.
Okay. Did Adventures give Red Espeon in response to Red having an Espeon in the games, do you think?
Well, it's very complicated as to the
timeline.
The Espeon is very okay. So, I'm really gonna do this right now. Okay, so the Eevee, so Team Rocket has genetically engineered an Eevee that is it's like a reverse Chimera or something. The Eevee at will. Or not at will, but in response to stimuli, can turn into each of its evolutions and back, and at multiple times. So this Eevee is being really, really bad, and is Jolteon, Flareon, and Vaporeon all at the same time in certain cases, and it also hates its life. It's like this horrible abomination as well. Ash gets them to stop abusing the Eevee, which is really Red gets them to stop abusing the Eevee, and he catches it, but it's still having this problem, and its life sucks. But he eventually fixes it by turning it into an Espeon. And I think that is obviously that's not the story they were going for, having it be on its team in Gold, Silver, and Crystal, but the fixing, I don't, and it making sense thematically of fixing this creature that has like essentially like a fate worse than death, where it has like no sense of identity, no sense of self, no sense of identity, and it is like a creature of evolution, but like an abomination brought on by that evolution is like, I don't know, that's like horrible Lovecraftian stuff. And Red fixes it through friendship, which is like, oh my god, like, oh my god, cry me a river. This is beautiful. When Espeon showed up for the first time, he was like, yeah, I actually fixed it because he's Espeon now. I was like, oh my god, like. I hope and pray to be as good of a storyteller and like idea smith as y'all are, even just the tiniest bit. So but I had this really special connection with it. Or it's like oh, so much personality, and then it's like, oh, he has Espeon. Okay, that's awesome. So this is all to say this tirade that I often go on. You always get me to go on a tirade on here. It's gonna happen eventually.
Sorry. But
is that
to the listeners, you're welcome.
Teams are storytelling, especially with big boss fights, and I think they warrant personality. And I see a commercial for Pokemon on Red's team. I did not see a character, and that makes me a little bit sad.
Wow. Okay, Akko, how do you view Red on top of Mount Silver?
Yeah, God, I feel like completely the opposite.
Yeah.
I hear the points. I think like the loss of Espeon does suck, like thematically, even like without the context of the manga. But I feel like, so I've been going back on this idea. We've talked about like the idea of legacy, and like the Red fight is like the perfect culmination of all of that, where like literally you're fighting like the icons of the original game. You're fighting the Pikachu, you're fighting like 3 starters, and they're at like peak form by the original protagonist nonetheless. And he doesn't say anything because like what is there to say? You're looking in a mirror essentially. It's like I guess like if we're really getting into the up in the clouds narrative, it's like the Red fight is like a fight with yourself in a way, because like it's literally the protagonist of the old game. And in my head, my interpretation is like, and I've mentioned before how Gen 2 is kind of an anti-power fantasy. It explores the idea of what happens when you have accomplished everything that there is to accomplish. And the Red fight defeating the culmination, the idea of like the power fantasy is perfectly narrativized with the story they're trying to tell of like, if you're always grasping for power, there's going to be someone who usurps you, and then everything will be empty. And I think maybe I'm putting a lot into this narrative that like Pokemon, you know, it's like how people overinterpret like Kendrick Lamar lyrics or whatever. But like I think that's what I get out of it, is that like that's exactly the story they're trying to tell, is that people, or like the idea that like power fantasies, clamoring for power's sake, which is like the core conceit of the original game, is ultimately futile and ends with like a quiet whisper, I guess. And like that's kind of how the entire Gen 2 game ends, and I think that's kind of cool.
I love the Red fight because of how just like absurdly overleveled it is.
Oh yeah.
And to me, it is like the point. Claire, you're going to be underleveled for. Red, you're going to be underleveled for. And that means you need to have gotten good at this. You need to like use your resources that you have access to. You've played through this whole game at this point. You now should have a pretty solid understanding of like how to go about this fight without needing to grind the 20 levels, right? Red's levels being so out of reach from like organically where your levels would be should fully disincentivize you from grinding, especially with like basically the levels of the wild Pokemon in even Mount Silver. You're not getting a ton of experience. And so the Red fight is like the epitome of like, this is a hard fight in this series. Genuinely, in this children's video game, this is a hard fight. And you, like, either you're capable or you're not, right? And always you have the option to grind. If I don't know, I guess like if you kind of run out of options, but I think like it's like one of the best skill checks, I think, just in the series of just like, you know, you've made it this far. You've learned what you've learned. You've spent the time, ideally. Put it to the test. Use the resources that you have access to. And like people put all these like rules on playing through a Pokemon game, like, you know, no items in battle or whatever. But like those resources are there like ordinarily, and like you're supposed to use them, especially in a fight like this, right? Like use the X items, use your max revives, whatever. Like that's all on the table because this is the final test. So I love Red for that reason, and yeah, I agree with the Espeon point. And Red's team to me is like the Kanto team. You know what I mean? Even though he doesn't have a Dragonite, I just feel like his team is the Kanto team. But that's just me.
I agree with all that. Those are good points. I like my automatic intuition is to look to the character, and I almost feel bad for Red. He never gets to say anything. He's like, I don't know. He's not just an advertisement for Pokemon. Maybe that was a little harsh, but he's like, he's like a vessel almost.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
He's like the Undertale. Literally,
he's an avatar.
And I just, you know, for posterity, just like I guess it's like perspective also is like so like the other trainers don't like the other like protagonists very rarely, if ever, get like an actual canon team.
Totally.
But the ones that exist are like weird and full of personality. Like, I mean, there's like very little, and it's like because like this is the comparison. I'm trying to look at Gold or Ethan as he's known, and it's like in official art, there's Gold is standing with a Scizor and a Smeargle, and those seem to be his two Pokemon. Like, oh, what a weird and interesting choice for like partners. And then often Cyndaquil, famously, and then
I think I've also seen Ethan maybe with like Sudowoodo. Like I think canonically
that is in the manga.
In quotes,
I don't know. If his team in the manga is super weird. Oh yeah, okay. So in the TCG they just had this. This is pretty recent, but it's like, so there's Ethan's Sudowoodo, Ethan's Pichu, Magcargo, Typhlosion, and Pinsir, and Ho-Oh.
like Magcargo and Typhlosion.
I don't know why what an interesting choice, but like,
right?
I think, and I honestly like, it's like while I feel this way about Red, I almost feel like y'all's points are more important, and like Red means something more. It's okay that I didn't get like my every ounce of character development cake, because Red means a lot more to the series than that could ever matter, and like that experience for the player. Like, so what if he's like a goalpost in some ways? Like, that's a really important goalpost. But
we did both say that we missed the Espeon for what it's worth.
I know, and that's like, that's great. And he has like I should go play Gold and Silver, I guess. But like, I think it's like so weird now because Red still exists. Like,
right.
Like Red being this way in Sun, and this is hardly here or there at that point, but it's like I did get this feeling, especially is like when Red and Blue show up in Sun and Moon, it's like Blue feels right at home. Like this is like a weird guy with personality. He's like wearing his like, I don't know, he's not that old, but he's like wearing like unk clothes now, if I'm using that word correctly. Like he is, but it's like
he is.
Red has the same like poster team. And is like, I don't know, it like looks like he's like wearing clothes that are like too young for him or something. Like, and it's sort of weird culture shock seeing him be like essentially the exact same way, but it's like it's clear that Blue has grown up and he's like, hey, what's up, everybody? Like he's like he's not. Red is an interesting character. This is neither here nor there. I'm not gonna. I'm way off track already. But red is important, and like even just as an icon, and I think it's like it's probably you're right to bring it up the way that you did, of just like and this is something that is like probably universally acclaimed about gold and silver. It's like, you know, like what other game again gives you this opportunity where it's like this legacy, and it's like, oh my gosh, that's the Pokemon guy, like I'm gonna beat the Pokemon guy with my. And I actually like I think it's important, like contrasting wise, that Ethan or Gold is like portrayed with weirdos, because it's like part of that legacy. It's like these are the titans of Pokemon, and you have a Sunflora and a Sudowoodo. Like
right.
like it's like we're in a new era, and that's really cool. So
yeah, good
points. I like it. All right. So I don't really want to ask because I don't want to get yelled at, but is the Johto situation valid? That's what our ending claim. Is the situation, like, as crazy as it is, and we went on for a long time, I think it's pretty crazy. Is this like worth being a situation? Am I right, I guess? Because like, I mean, I'll say like yes, I think it is, because not because the criticisms are valid, but because the boldness, as Akko so wisely put it, the boldness combined with the artful blend of receiving communication and sending out expectations, I think is so important for the digestion of the series as a whole. And so, as annoying as it is, and as some people, probably not our lovely listeners, should shut the hell up from time to time, I think the situation is an important one. And I like that it's crazy, because it makes me think about what these games should be all the time. Thoughts?
Akko?
I get, okay, so I think the situation in that, like, there's constantly discourse about the games is, I think it's valid in that it demonstrates a really interesting like gamer preference evolution over the years, and I don't think that's even restricted to Pokemon. And I think, like we've discussed a lot of the times, of like how Johto asks for more of a gamer back then than would be well received today. I think there's plenty of games that run similarly, that really test your patience. But I think it's a valid situation in that, like, it, if anything, it just demonstrates how far we've come, not just as like Pokemon players, but like gamers writ large, and like how the expectations have changed. I think that's like cool. I'm not gonna pretend that like Johto's flawless or whatever, but I think like what it represents is really interesting, and it's a lot of the time, the more I thought about it, it's like watching like a black and white movie in some ways, where like if you sit with it and you're like muscle through the pain a little bit of the technical limitations, I feel like it can do a lot for you still, but it just doesn't age well, and I don't think it needs to.
I like that we're past Gen 1 discourse. I'll say that much. I'm glad. I feel like if we have to talk about Johto and Sinnoh and Alola for like 6 out of 7 days a week, I'm just glad that we're not doing the Gen 1 discourse anymore.
I would love to see anything just like writ large, like Johto level curve. I would love to see that specifically like disappear. Like there are fair criticisms about Johto as we've gone through. I think like it's a little bit of a skill issue for the individual. if the so-called Johto level curve is proving problematic for you, no disrespect. Let's Go Pikachu Eevee is right there.
That's good.
I mean, it's just like that's like just linearly true. Like, I mean, it's like you can like get mad at the game all you want, but it's like just cheat or something. Like, or like if you must, like this isn't.
Sure. Also, yeah, no one's like policing you, by the way. Like, you can do whatever the hell you want. Like, but I don't know. Like, stop complaining about it. Also,
yeah. I get it, like, just because I don't know. I feel like it almost special attention gets warranted. Like, it acts like it's warranted because it's Pokemon, but it's just like it's also just a game. Like, like it can have hard parts, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it's like yeah, there's a million things you can do about that problem. I entirely agree with you. It's not like not worth analyzing because it's still like it has like I guess reaching ramifications, but that by itself is just dumb. It's
because it's just this like blanket statement that's meant to like put down the entire like the games as a whole. I don't care for that shit at all. Like, be a little bit more interesting with your critiques. That's all.
Yeah.
But otherwise, this is good discourse. Sometimes
we got over 2 hours out of it, so yeah, I think so.
Food for thought, if nothing else. Well,
yeah.
The Johto situation is crazy, folks.
I think it's going to continue to be crazy for a long time.
If we've learned anything,
you know what I'm noticing just on the internet actually is like there is starting to be a shift into now Hoenn being like. There's a lot of people who are like starting to become like Hoenn is not actually, and I'm about to throw fucking hands for Hoenn anyway. But we'll get there. Probably next year is when I'm really gonna have to be. Next year is when I think the people are going to be really up in arms about Hoenn. Anyway,
we'll see. My crazy situation.
Yeah. The Hoenn situation is out of control.
Yeah,
it's an absolute nature.
That's interesting. Are we making 7 out of 10 too much water comparisons again?
It's not even that. It's not even that. It's just people are like, it's so vague. People are just like, oh, the vibes in Hoenn are off. Fuck you. What do you mean?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. That's not anything. Yeah. Anyway, we'll again next year. Look forward to, I don't know, episode 31 of Petalburg Woods when the Hoenn situation is crazy or something. I'm calling my shot.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good job, folks. We wrapped. We did it. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah,
of course.
Seriously. Great points.
Fun.
Like. You're perfect for this. I mean, like in theory and in practice. I was thinking.
I appreciate it. No, yeah, it was fun. I love yapping on about these games. I always will. I'll always staunchly defend. Like we had a nuanced conversation where I see the ground and we acknowledged faults, but that's just here. Out there. But the shield is up.
Johto number 1, baby.
Yeah.
Well, I like
exactly.
That. I mean, it happens we've only had one other guest on the show, but I mean, practically every time I feel like it's like and it makes the show better. I hope, I guess tell me if I should be like a rigid asshole the whole time, but it's like every episode I'm like, wow, that was a really good point, Capreo and or guests. Like, I am thinking about it in a different way. Like, that's really cool. What a good back and forth. That's awesome. So I appreciate the space because the internet is scary. Like you're saying.
Truly. I have one more question for Akko.
Yeah.
Sure.
Akko, what's your favorite Johto Pokemon?
Oh,
that's a big
one. Honestly, I really like Murkrow. I don't know what it is about Murkrow. Just a weird one.
Yeah.
Kind of like out of place. Honchkrow's cool, of course. But like there's just something that feels weird about Murkrow. I don't know. And I like it. He's kind of silly. And dark type, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
So I gotta give it to Murkrow, I think. That's off the top of my head. Probably up there. Top
Great
3
choice.
at least. Yeah. What about you guys?
Lantern.
Solid choice. That's actually so good.
Lantern for sure.
Love Lantern.
Yeah, you really like Lantern? Well, not to beat a dead horse, but I have to say Scizor, my baby girl.
Really? Not a Zoomeril?
Solid pick.
Or Meganium. I don't know.
You are made of
flippin'.
multitudes. I understand.
I'm flippant. I have I have a lot of feelings. I mean, I should say Azumarill. It's in my room, but I just got in a real Scizor mood. Having this conversation is like, wow, Scizor, awesome.
What a good guy.
What a good Pokemon. The Scizor situation, not crazy at all. It's just really good.
Actually, very
level-headed. Everyone is on board about Scizor.
Akko, do you have any? Well, I should say. I mean, if you didn't already know, hopefully it comes as no surprise. Akko is not just a Johto enthusiast. While taking maybe a bit of a corporate retreat, some might say, is a prolific YouTuber and creator. Is there anything you would like to plug of yours in the meantime? Projects you should be looking forward to?
Yeah, I mean, apart from what I plugged up at the top, I like you said, corporate retreater. Unfortunately, job's kind of eating a lot of my time, but I'm slowly making my way back into Pokemon stuff. I really have been thinking a lot about like things that haven't been analyzed from a data perspective, because like ultimately Pokemon is just numbers with cool artwork. I guess you could say the same about every video game, but like I think Pokemon especially is very stats heavy in a way that maybe like a Zelda isn't. So I think there's really interesting analysis. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about. I don't know if I have anything to plug yet, but thinking a lot about numbers in Pokemon and not just from a competitive aspect.
Where can people find you?
Oh youtube.com/ what is it? Ackolade TV?
Ackolade? At Ackolade TV. I got it pulled up. Yeah.
Yep.
That is with a K, there. Not in the biblical spelling. ACKOLADE TV.
I have a little fun with it. I just stream on Twitch sometimes too. Twitch.tv/Ackolade. Hopefully more often as I get a little bit more time. But yeah. Thanks for having me on, guys. Oh my gosh. This is really fun.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
It was great.
You were awesome.
I'm really glad. Okay.
Sweet.
All right, folks. That's all we've got for you this time on Petalburg Woods. Next time, we've got Capreo's got a special, if you will. I'm really excited to join him for the idea of what do we call it? The ultimate move, the concept of the ultimate move, identities.
Wow. I think like quintessential move combinations. Think Sceptile and Leaf Blade, right? Pikachu and Voltackle.
He's really excited. I'm really excited. Look forward to that. The visual and physical identity that goes with Pokemon beyond just their designs. It's going to be pretty interesting. Until then, you can find us outside of the forest. I'm on YouTube at Droomish1 because some rat bastard has just at Droomish. I can't figure out how to fix that. And we're both on Twitch at Droomish_ and at Capreo. Please let us know what you thought. Leave a review if you are on a podcasting service. And if you're on YouTube, give us a like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, all the good stuff. And as always, leave your repels at home, and we will see you next time in the Petalburg Woods. Bye-bye.
See you.
Petalburg Woods is hosted by Droomish and Capreo and produced by Girl Luigi. The theme music is by Capreo, and additional artwork is by Mo Paint Stuff. Let us know where you'd like to visit in the Pokemon Universe next. Email